I played 1 year of Stardew Valley, but with one major catch. An attempt to collect everything in an over-modded version of the game. And not just one of every item, but also one of every quality of those items. And looking back after our first year, we definitely made a lot of progress. And I gotta thank all of those that came to this series and hung out on the streams and made this challenge even more fun, and for also recommending a lot of mods to add to this challenge as we go. So be sure if you can to catch the live streams and hang out with us on our Discord as well. Before we get into the whole year, I want to go over some of the biggest mods that we started with, and going into the following seasons, you're going to see me tell you of any new additions that we added in. So to start off with the biggest expansion mods, we have Stardew Valley Expanded, Mount Vapius, East Scarp, Richside Village, Lunar Astray, Distant Lands, and the Adventurers Guild Expanded. Mod-wise, for new items and skills to collect, we included the Cornucopia, Amber Resin, Wildflower, Magical Crops, Binning Skill, and Archaeology Skill mods, and that is not all of them by far. So be sure to check out the link below to see all the mods that we are using and the entire list of items on our handy spreadsheet for you to see the progress that we have been making. And hey, if you find this video interesting as you watch it, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to not miss out on any of the streams or future videos for this challenge. But with all that out the way, now let's have a look at everything we achieved in our first year of a crazy modded Stardew series. We started out as we normally would, setting up our character's appearance and the name of our farm, choosing the backyard as the name, a most fitting name if you ask me. We went with the remix bundles for this challenge as I wanted to see if there would be anything interesting and new with the 1.6 update. And for the map, we have the Waterfalls Forest Farm map to play with. We have all the mods for this series listed on a giant Google Doc spreadsheet, which also lists all the items we are going to be needing if you want to play along too. We started day 1 picking up our first 15 parsnips, answering the mail to find one from Eloise, a young girl from the village of East Scarp, a place I don't know much about, so we will have to go and visit her soon. Before opening our second piece of mail to find we were going to have to meet 74 people in this playthrough to get the introductions mission completed. There are so many people that we're going to have to marry and divorce to get all the possible portraits for this playthrough, and this is going to be very interesting as we keep going. After that, we had a quick look through the sheer amount of items we would be needing to ship for perfection, and don't worry, we're going to be adding more mods including Raffidax if we can later. Before finally clearing out a small area to get our parsnips all planted and watered. Leaving the farm that first day, we met Lenny, the mayor and sister of Lewis from Richside Village, before picking up our first forage of the game, which consisted of the daffodil from the base game, as well as 2 new items, peppercorn and Grampleton walnut. The visit to Pierre's blew our mind with the sheer amount of crops for sale, including an entire collection of different types of cactus. But for now, at least to get some money coming in, we kept our purchases pretty vanilla, buying 1 kale, 6 cauliflowers, a bean starter, and 1 potato. We met Sam and Luna for the first time outside the store and immediately found our first geode in the trash. And this would be a good moment to say that we have not only a new binning skill to level up in this playthrough, but an archaeology one too. We met Leah, Penny and Haley on the way back to the farm and got all our purchases from Pierre planted. Using the rest of the day, we became a little bit more acquainted with the new farm layout, finding our first leek, horseradish, and a rundown barn that will apparently fix itself over time as we progress. A dandelion and rice shoots were also collected, as well as new modded forage consisting of wild strawberries and avaloon. And we found our first lost book for the library, which is one less thing to get on our item collection. We ended our first day planting down the rice, finding a pomegranate in the giant cave we have under the farm, and decided to ship the pomegranate, coal, clay, weeds, stone, wood, wild strawberries and sap to start ticking off all the items we were going to need to ship. We slept to level up in archaeology on day 2, learning the new recipes for the preservation chamber and wooden displays, making a small amount of gold. We made 207 gold on our first night. Pierre had sent a letter advertising his new larger backpack, and Willie said that we should hop on by to visit him at the beach. Crops all watered, we headed through the forest to the beach, finding our first piece of forest lavender, and after a short conversation with Willie, we got our bamboo pole to start fishing. We fished for a good chunk of time, met Carmen, dropped the fish back at home, and fished in the river on the farm for the rest of the day. We are trying right now to speed run to level 5 fishing to increase their profits to have enough money to buy a decent amount of strawberry seeds later in the season. And in that day we managed to get 15 fish, so not a bad start. And another exploration of the underground cave netted us a wild plum and a gold quality pomegranate. Our fishing leveled up as we slept, and we woke up to rain on day 3, saving us some energy on crop watering. We set up a chest at the lake and started fishing for the day, and as evening descended we headed to the saloon to meet a few more people around the village, allowing us to meet Bert, Andy, Pam, Gus, Emily, Shane, Clint and Harvey, and at midnight on the way home we managed to meet Claire. Again, our fishing leveled up as we slept, and we bolstered our future profits by planting down 20 spring seeds on the morning of day 4. Foraging on the forest found us our first meadow violet and cannoli almond. We bumped into Alyssa as we headed to the village, meeting Evelyn, Carolyn, Olivia and Jody while we were there. We checked the help wanted board for the first time, remembering we have access to many different requests every day, accepting a request to deliver a dandelion to Emily and horseradish to Pam. We decided to say hi to Morris while we were in the Joja Mart, bumping into Maru and Yuma on the way home, where we decided to ship our first peppercorn and Grambleton walnut to get them ticked off the shipping list. And again, we fished until bedtime. Fishing leveled up again as we headed into day 5, and we are well on our way to getting that money before the Egg Festival comes to town. We received a letter from Susan, who was trapped up at the railroad. Willie told us he had a new rod for sale. Jojo removed the landslide to the mines, and Robin let us know we can upgrade our farm from her if we wished. The first of our parsnips were ready, giving us our first farming level up. We decided to ship the 50 normal quality, holding on to the single gold quality one that we had harvested. We found our first wild red onion today just lying out on the road, and arriving in town we had the cutscene with Lewis about the community center. And of course we will be doing the community center run on this playthrough. We made sure to look at the golden plate before leaving and headed up to the mines to meet Marlon for the first time, receiving our rusty sword. We managed to mine down to level 10, fulfilling a request from Clint to collect 4 copper ore as we did so, and we got a decent amount of stuff from our first venture into the mines, including a glow ring, which was a most lucky find. We woke up to Clint at our door with a template for a furnace on day 6, and so we quickly got one crafted before also crafting our first scarecrow. The wizard told us to pay him a visit, and Marlon told us we could join the Adventurers Guild if we killed enough slimes for him. We stocked up on items for the museum, and after some more crop watering, headed into town buying some parsnips to restock the ones we'd harvested the other day. After saying hi to Gunther, we gave him an ancient hand axe, a piece of celestine and jagoite for his collection. We smelted our first copper bar, and then he was off to the wizards, where after some forest magic and potion drinking, we now had the ability to read the golden plate inside of the community center. Louise introduced us to the new ticket system for helping out people, and we traded our first ticket in for some new carrot seeds introduced in 1.6. We got those carrots planted at home, fished a little more, and slept to discover our first level up in the binning skill, giving us the recycling machine and a grilled cheese recipe. The food theme continued into day 7 as we woke up to our first recipe from the Queen of Sauce, and after shipping some rice which was ready to harvest, we headed to Lewis with the gold quality pomegranate we had found, as it was his birthday. It was then we checked out the community center to see what would be needed to complete it, finding some bundles that I had never seen before. We met Sophia as we gave Lewis his birthday gift and spent the rest of the day fishing away up the lake, gaining us level 4 in fishing, only 1 more to go. Day 8 saw us accepting a request to deliver a smallmouth bass to Gus at the saloon, before we took a dandelion to finish off the first bundle at the community center, giving us some spring seeds and unlocking the pantry and fishing tank to start working on. We continued our daily chats with Luna, as she's likely the first person we are going to marry in this playthrough, and we fished the day away before shipping those 30 seeds we got from the community center just to get a bit of extra cash. The carrots were ready on day 9, shipping one of them to get it checked off the list, fishing the rest of the day way up the lake again before calling it a night. We got our cat on day 10, naming it Sen, before harvesting another round of parsnips, which we immediately shipped for the cash. We found our first silver quality salmonberry in the underground farm cave, fishing the rest of the day away around the village and mountains before finally hitting that level 5 fishing for 25% more profits from fish sales. And we can also craft sprinklers now, so a pretty nice day all around. On day 11, Robin told us she had lost her favorite axe, and we'll get round to finding it at some point, I am sure. We sold all the fish, heading after into the mines to start finding copper, and tried to get down to the iron levels to start crafting up our first sprinklers to start the automated farm empire. The mining was not so productive, and we ended up running into Jazz and Vincent playing near the sewers exit in the forest, and in 11 days we had still managed to find no spring onions in this forest, which is just far too unlucky. Some beach forage found as a Fern Isle olive, and that evening we completed the first pantry bundle, getting us some fertilizer and unlocking the boiler room to start improving, and we spent a little time clearing out some more of the farm. Our foraging leveled up that night into day 12, meaning we could now make more soup, which in all honesty does not sound that appetizing. And we had made a grand total of almost 6,000 gold from all that past fishing. All of our spring seeds had grown, as well as our first green beans. We delivered a horseradish to Pierre as well as one to Caroline, giving us another ticket and our first peach sapling. And we invested our money in our first backpack upgrade that day. After we headed to the mines, getting all the way down to level 20 and getting a much needed upgrade to our sword, we headed home, planted the peach sapling, and went to sleep as mystery boxes rained down upon the valley. It was the day of the egg festival on day 13, and so we got a large area hoed out and watered, ready for the incoming strawberries, managing to buy 70 in total for the rest of the spring. We were hoping to use the egg festival to meet everyone that we had not yet met, but alas, we still managed to miss some people. But we did get very close to meeting everyone at least. We won the egg race, planting all 70 strawberry seeds, heading on to bed as soon as we'd done so. The Queen of Sauce taught us how to make coleslaw on day 14, and we realized then there were still 6 people we needed to meet. Watering all of those strawberries took a good chunk of our energy, and so picking up a gold quality daffodil, we head on over to give it to Haley for her birthday. Deciding afterwards to clear some of the area near the south exit of the farm to make it easier and quicker for us to get in and out until we find the time to decorate with some paths, and we ended week 2 with an early sleep at 4:40 p.m. It was now salmonberry season, and the wildflower mods had been updated as week 3 began. It does look at least that we can plant bushes now for some of the new forage from these mods, which is cool and will make gathering those items a little easier for us. We shipped our first cauliflower, and an exploration of the underground farm cave found us an apricot, spiceberry, and an apple. We collected salmon berries and rosefinch feathers as we headed to the mines, managing to get down to level 30, and we were finally initiated into the Adventurers Guild. We doubled up our furnace array and headed on to sleep for the night. I woke up to some blue clover seeds the morning of day 16 in the mail, which are from the Mount Vapius mod, and it looks like once they are harvested, they fertilize the ground for you for the next crops you plant, which is very nice indeed. We got them planted, and after watering them and the strawberries, it was time to return to the mines. In the mines, we managed to find the wooden club, but we decided to stick with our sword, and we soon started finding our first bits of iron, getting all the way down to level 43 that day and getting the slingshot as a reward on level 40. We began to smelt our first iron bars that night as we headed on to sleep. It was thankfully a rainy day on day 17, and with our iron ready, we got our first 2 sprinklers set down, and we decided to make a museum run this day. I forgot to mention, but we picked up the day before a new mineral from the mines, meaning we have new minerals and artifacts for the museum as part of this Mount Vapius expansion. The wizard told me about some strange new seeds he had come across, and that we should pay him a visit, and so we headed there first, being given some king parsnip seeds as part of the magical crops mod. We headed around the forest for more salmon berries, coming across a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, which got us the leprechaun hat, and I must say I like it a lot more than the straw one. I got those king parsnip seeds planted, headed to Gunther to drop off 6 more items for his collection, including the new one from Mount Vapius, which even comes with a new wing in the museum for all the new items from that mod. And as a reward, we got some cauliflower seeds, melon seeds, and the new crop seeds of the fire beans. We gave Penny the dandelion she'd requested and headed back to the mines for the evening, getting us a little bit more iron to increase our sprinklers and make our lives easier for watering all these crops. We got the fire beans planted and the cauliflowers in, as I didn't realize at that moment the cauliflowers wouldn't be grown in time before spring ended, but with a chance so big as this, we're bound to be making some blunders along the way. On day 18, we got some new seeds in the mail from Mount Vapius, a flower called Tagateth. I noticed then that the king parsnips seemed to cause normal parsnips to appear next to them magically. We did our watering duties and then went to give Pam a gold quality parsnip for her birthday. We headed on over to the idyllic beachside town of East Scarp to deliver a cauliflower requested by Beatrice, donated to the museum, got a ticket from Demetrius for giving him a horseradish, and turned that ticket into some mixed seeds. We spent that evening clearing more of the farm, smelting copper as we did so, making a note to upgrade our pick as soon as we could, and heading to bed that night we unlocked the bee house recipe. And I do wonder at this point if the new flowers in these mods are going to be allowing us to make some special honey. But anyway, our foraging also leveled up that night, giving us access to more bushes from the wildflower mods to craft, as well as tappers and the new mushroom log from 1.6. The blue clover was ready on the morning of day 19, and a crow had actually gotten at my crops. We shipped one of the blue clover off, received the cheese cauliflower recipe from Pam in the mail, as well as a dahlia seed from Evelyn, the ale keg recipe from Pam, and the wildflowers mod, and a request from Jody for a ripe cauliflower. Watering duties done, we found a silver quality blackberry in the underground farm cave. We returned to the mines, hoping for more copper and iron, managing to reach level 47 before we had to leave. More sprinklers were made, and to bed we went. Day 20 was to be the final day before our first strawberry harvest, and after the usual watering duties, we talked to Linus on the way to the mines, as we had been chipping away at his friendship on a daily basis, delving again into the mine for a short spell. We finally met Ideen for the first time in East Scarp and made sure to give Shane a beer for his birthday. A bit of farmer clearance that evening got us a new chest set up next to the furnaces, and with the automate mod installed, ores will now be auto-crafted for us as long as the needed items are in the chest. And that's just one less thing for us to have to worry about doing every day. A crop fairy came that night, and after learning how to make radish salad on day 21, we found several of our cauliflowers and all of the strawberries ready for harvest. We were sure to be making a decent amount of money tonight, and all those strawberries got our farming leveled up, and we shipped 52 of them in total. The Wandering Trader had new books for sale when I arrived that day, and I didn't know these items existed as part of Mount Vapius. And so we added them to our ever-growing spreadsheet of items, buying our first rare seed before heading on to the mines, after saying hello to Linus, of course. We managed to get down to level 54 this day, getting another new mineral from Mount Vapius for the museum, as well as a little bit more iron for our sprinklers. Sleeping that night unlocked the preserved jars for us, as well as bringing in over 6,000 gold from our strawberry harvest. Oh, and our mining reached level 42 that night. The Tagates, the flower that I honestly don't know how to say, was ready this morning, and so were the king parsnips. Heading into town, Leah shared a green bean with me in the community garden before I headed to the museum to hand in a new dose of museum artifacts. The museum was already filling up rather nicely. We gave Clint some work improving our pickaxe to make our mining lives easier, and so we finally started setting aside an area to keep track of all the items for this challenge. As part of this challenge, the farm has to be organized and decorated beautifully, so this is not the final resting place of all these chests. We found our first silver quality orange in the underground cave farm, as well as an owl carving which can warp us directly to Mount Vapius when we are ready to start visiting that area. And after renaming our chests so we can keep track of everything a little easier, we headed to bed for the night. Looking back, it appears day 23 was a bit of a random one, as we spent a good chunk of the day fishing, but we did manage to get into Andy's house late that evening to give him a beer for his birthday. And after we spent some time sharing a drink with Shane at the forest lake, I headed home, and I guess my logic for the fishing that day was to start collecting them for the challenge, as we did set up a chest before heading to bed that night, specifically for fish. With the end of spring fast approaching on day 24, we decided to start shipping a few items we had in excess for the shipping collection, including a cave carrot, batwing, slime, bug meat, gloomy bluet, pelican mint, red wild onion, cannoli almond, petite lemon, and fern isle olive. We headed to the flower dance and finally met all the people needed for the introductions quest, as we had been missing Olga and Blair from Ridgeside Village. Shane rejected me as his dance partner, and so I stood to the side and watched the flower dance unfold in front of me before heading home, lighting up some of the farm with hidden torches before finally heading to bed. It was raining on day 25, and so we harvested our first onion and final batch of strawberries for the season. finding out in the mail that the annual Stardew Valley Animal Contest will return, which is part of the Animal Husbandry mod. But this is something that will have to wait until next year for us, as we still have no animals. Befriending Shane had gotten us the marshmallow mixer crafting recipe, as well as the recipe to cook pepper poppers. We shipped another 56 strawberries, making a note to build a coop as soon as possible. We picked up our shiny new copper axe and headed to the mines to stock up on copper, as we had begun to run low. We added one of each type of trash we had collected to the forage chest for the collection challenge, unlocked level 2 binning and the ability to craft more trash bins to potentially rummage through in the future, as well as level 6 farming, which comes with the quality sprinkler recipe as we went to sleep. It was another rainy day on day 26, but Demetrius had traveled through the rain to talk to us about setting up a fruit bat cave or a mushroom cave. As we appear to be able to get fruit already from the underground cave, we have opted for the mushrooms, taking the free dehydrator that comes with it and placing it near the house. We also invested a little bit of wood on paths and a chest to automate the collection of the mushrooms, so we don't have to worry about missing out on them every other day when they grow. We deforested our way to Robin's house to first transplant some trees for a temporary tapa setup, and then proceeded to get the coop started. We gave a salmon berry to Demetrius to get the How to Win Friends quest finished, gifting Pierre a carrot for his birthday before investing in 4 crab pots and a lot of bait from Willy. The crab pots were placed down on the farm with the chest and the bait. To keep them auto-collecting daily, we added some more items into the chest for the item challenge and headed to bed choosing the Forester perk from level 5 foraging. Day 27 unlocked for us the kitchen mortar crafting recipe from Pierre. We added some strawberries to the dehydrator, told Haley to do the bare minimum to help her sister, donated to the museum, met Rosa in East Scarp, gave Emily a birthday gift, fished for a catfish as it was raining, and we even fished up our first book. And yes, we are of course going to have to read them all, but we are also going to have to keep one extra of each one for the every item challenge. On day 28, it was the last day of spring, and we had plans to sell our strawberries this night to get some money ready for the summer crops. We learned how to cook an omelette and shipped off our first dried strawberries. Emily gifted us our first cactus seed, and so we got that planted down. Our crab pots had ensured we could get the crab pot bundle completed this day, getting us 3 more crab pots for our collection and unlocking the bulletin board, which had many new bundles that I hadn't yet seen. Andy and Lewis had an argument in the town square, and so we decided to spend the rest of our last day visiting Ridgeside Village for the first time. Lenny gave us a tour, and after we spent some time with Yuma and Tot before catching some of the fish exclusive to Ridgeside Village and some of the unique forage too. And with that we headed home, sleeping to unlock level 2 archaeology and the grinding crafting recipe. For this season, in total we added another 14 mods, which include pine spruce for extra shipping goods, mini pigs for white truffles, and over 150 new mushrooms to collect. A mod to create everlasting flowers in glass, winter crops, a big expansion to the types of Joja Cola you can collect, a small addition for Amanita mushroom recipes, more flowers, lemons, and a whole load of new recipe mods and sliced fruit to keep us busy in this challenge. But enough about that, let's jump into summer. Day 1 started with our lucky ring having changed to a glow ring, which I wasn't too happy about, and after talking to Yuma about visiting Lenny on a sunny day at Ridgeside, we scythed away all of the dead crops from spring, harvested some fire beans, got sad that our king parsnips had errored out in a mod update, looked over all the new items we'd been needing to ship, and headed out of the farm for the day. In Cindersnap Forest, we saw Vincent and Luna talking about missing somebody, and we headed to collect Robin's missing axe. We were needing as much money as possible for the start of summer to get a good start with crop growing for the season. After placing down a sign to make sure we had proof of collecting her axe for the challenge, we handed over her axe, talked to a few people in town, and stocked up on crops, and we left Pierre's with a decent haul of seeds to start off the summer. We got our first Joja Cola box heading home via the mountain lake, finding a honey lightning and Joja cream inside. We didn't open the 3rd box as we needed it for the collection challenge, and we are bound to find more as we continue playing. We also found some mugwort and honey fungus before getting back home. Items dropped off, we started organizing our farm how we wanted it to be in the long run, moving over our sprinklers to a slightly different location with the hope of upgrading to quality sprinklers this season. The dahlia flower was unfortunately in a sprinkler spot, but we'll have to live with that for now. And after planting and watering all our crops, it was time to end our first day, making 770 gold that night. Day 2 was Lola's birthday, but we were a bit busy right now. We have a farming empire to be building after all. We received some mail saying the railroad blockage would be removed that night, and after watering a few crops not covered by the basic sprinklers, we found a silver cherry and a golden orange in the underground cave farm. Marnie didn't want our business today, so we headed to the mines, finding a lovebird feather and lost book for the library on our way. We're trying to hit gold level to start crafting those quality sprinklers, managing to get down to level 60 and receiving the crystal dagger for our troubles. A secret ladder with a very cryptic message here took us all the way to Mount Vapius, where we met Adelaide and Celestine on our arrival. We dug up a bait and bobber book here for some fishing XP, and also came across 3 fossils for the museum. The vanilla game palm fossil and 2 new ones from Mount Vapius, fossilized ammonites and a fossilized fish. We met Mariam in the forest and chopped down a new tree to find out that we could now grow pine trees at home, as well as a mysterious Junimo plaque saying if I helped the hamlet here, then I would be rewarded. We caught a white Vendace for the first time here before leaving on the bus home, quickly running back to the mines to pick up our loot haul for the day before planting down the birch seeds and heading to sleep. Our binning and archaeology skill leveled up overnight, giving us some new crafting and food recipes, and in the morning of day 3 we met Susan for the first time. We cleared up a little of the farm before heading to Cindersnap Forest, finding a yarrow and our first pine spruce from shaking a tree, which we can use to make teas, tinctures, syrups, and vodka apparently. We got our first chicken from Marnie, naming her Hoolandite after my backyard server friend, who really gave me the courage to start off this series in all honesty. And giving her a little love, we then read some mail from the mayor asking for his purple shorts, which he had lost. Go check out Hoolandite's channel, as she's also doing some Stardew content, which is really fun to watch. We decided to ship the spruce pine as it would give us a small boost to money in the early game, and picked up another violet starling feather before seeing the mayor complain to Morris about the explosion from last night. We donated an anchor, sword, and the 3 fossils we had found to the museum, which rewarded us with a seed maker, warp tokens to Mount Vapius, and the Jade Hills artwork. We read some more about fishing and gifted Carmen a clam before doing a small bit of fishing and heading home. We set up a recycling machine next to the crab pots to get the trash auto recycling for us, and we used the rest of our energy cutting down trees that night, chipping off a couple more items to fill out the shipped item list before heading to bed. Fishing level 6 was reached while we slept, unlocking the bait maker, and our binning skill leveled up again, allowing us to now construct composters. It was Jazz's birthday that morning, and we received a message from our interdimensional friends on day 4 saying if we wanted we could send our animals and give them, and they would give us meat in return if we sent them using a magical wand, which does look a bit like a meat cleaver, but let's not dwell on that too much. Marlon had sent us some new seeds which would grow into casino coins. We harvested our next batch of fire beans, gave Hoolandite some love, found some new types of Joja called Bajoja Blast and Code Strawberry. We continued to chip at the friendship with Luna as our first marriage candidate, and bought our second chicken, naming her Sprinkles, who I also know from the backyard. So be sure to check out her channel too, she has a lot of very interesting content. We bought our first melon seeds from Pierre, noticing pork and beef seeds for sale. We found Jazz and gave her a wild strawberry for her birthday, and found the final things we were missing for our summer foraging bundle. Melons planted and watered, we set up a chest for all our Joja Cola, made a note to buy paths from Robin, and got the summer forage bundle completed, netting us 30 summer forage seeds, which will help boost our money. We unlocked the vault and immediately bought the cheapest bundle, getting us some chocolate cake, planted the summer forage seeds, shipped some more items for the shipping collection, and again went to bed. Binning leveled up again as we slept, and we chose the sneak perk so we can look through trash without affecting the friendships of most people. We woke up to our first crop of Bihidaj on day 5, and I'm sure I'm butchering that pronunciation, immediately shipping it for the collection, and reading the mail, Willie let us know he had new rods for sale. Susan sent us 5 melon seeds to increase our crop growing empire, and our first dahlia had grown. We added the oranges to our item storage, meaning we don't have to worry about keeping one now for collection, and we can focus on using any others we get for crafting and cooking recipes, immediately picking up an extra orange in the underground farm cave as well as an apple. We checked through the fish bundles for the summer fish, and heading out of the farm we met Malaya and Kimpoi for the first time, and they had spent many years away from the valley. It looks like Olga was Kimpoi's sister, and potentially Malaya had some kind of secret that she's hiding away. We found a Dawn's trumpet at the bus stop, gave Caroline a cookie we had just found in the trash. On foraging at the beach, found us the Jack Be Nimble book, which increases our defense. We fished a little as I was trying to get the red snapper, not realizing at this point that I need rain for it to appear. So instead, after a failed fishing attempt, we dropped off a sunfish, catfish, sardine, bullhead and bream at the community center. We also dropped off the orange and the apple that we had found this morning. We fished at the mountain lake for a while, though I'm not quite sure what fish I was looking for. Got several new Joja Cola boxes and found our first star anise on the way home. Some fish were placed in the item collection chest, and opening the Joja boxes got us 2 new colas, Parrot Punch and Cola Dough. We continued to level up the binning skill as we slept. No new recipes this time, but an increased chance for rare loot drops is always nice. It was raining as we got out of bed on day 6, and Kimboy was there to tell us he would be selling saplings of exotic fruit he'd found on his world travels. The first of our hot peppers were ready to harvest, and we immediately shipped one of them, deciding today to head to the mines despite the bad luck, as we really needed some gold. Finding our first inky cap on the way, I was reminded that mushrooms galore spawn when the rain is out. So that is something we definitely need to remember for the future, and that day we managed to get down to level 67 before having to retreat. But we did get a decent haul of loot, and hey, we did get our first piece of gold. We ran to the bus stop in the rain to check for mushrooms, finding an apricot jelly, were cococo, honey fungus and birch palette, before quickly picking up some sweet basil that we had left behind when our inventory was full. We set up a chest for keeping one of each of the mushrooms, and we have a decent start to it already, also adding a gold daffodil to the chest to complete the daffodil set for the future. We slept, uncovering more archaeology secrets, including recipes for a bone path and glass brazier, and would you believe it, a binning level up 2 came that night, and we learned how to craft the recycling bin. It turns out the recycling bin can be put anywhere around town, and people might throw out some good items for us to take home, so we will have to start crafting these as soon as possible. Queen of Sauce taught us how to make baked fish on day 7, and we got our fire beans harvested and summer forage watering duties all done. Ulandite gifted us with our first egg of the challenge, and so we got some mayonnaise machines made and got that egg processed. Jazz kindly gifted us with some meadow mix seeds in the mail, and we headed over to Clint's to break down some geode. That turned out to be quite fruitful, and we could donate 5 more minerals to the museum, as well as a dwarf skull that we had found during our mining expedition. The reward for all of that was a bear. Not the best, but it is kind of cute. We finally remembered to buy the path recipe we were wanting from Robin, shipped our first mayo, and set up a chest to automate the dehydration process. We are going to need to keep one of each possible dried fruit and mushroom after all. We started adding the summer forage items to the collection chest, shipped a fairy mushroom as we had finally gotten a spare one, and set up our first tapper on a maple tree. The bee honey empire could now soon begin. And after clearing some of the farm of grass to encourage forage to spawn, we slept for the night. Week 2 began, and as we slept, foraging leveled up, giving us the sorely needed lightning rod recipe, as well as a way to craft rose flax bushes to save on us finding it through forage. Mining also leveled up, and we decided to go with the miner profession. It was Gus's birthday on day 8, so we got a diamond ready for him, and today Sprinkles also started laying eggs. Having some mayo consistently being made every day for income is going to help us out immensely, and we also set up an animal products chest so we can start storing one of all of the items made by our animals. We crafted up the first wood flooring and started laying out the official layout for this area of the farm. I want this little corner to be full of quality sprinklers eventually so we can grow all of the trellis style crops, and we got our first summer squash planted down as we will be needing it for the summer crops bundle. Gus received his birthday gift, we talked a little more to Luna, caught our first pufferfish, and finally realized we need rain for the red snapper. We got our first amber moondrop berries on the way home, stored some more fish away from completion, as well as some Joja Cola, and rested our weary head. Day 9 had more hot peppers for us, and we stored away our first basic quality eggs for the completion goal. In the mail we received the salmon dinner recipe, kitchen blender and artisan mead keg recipes, as well as a new cactus which we immediately got planted down. We headed to Pierre's with an assortment of crops, getting some jamborite from a geode, and using the money we just got to work on an upgrade for our pickaxe. We headed to Ridgeside Village to talk to Lenny, who asked us if she could help us out restoring the minecarts around the village, and that is something we will get started on later on in the year, potentially during the winter time. Olga got a silver green bean for her birthday, a few more fish were added to our complete item collection, and we got over 2,000 gold from Demetrius for delivering him a diamond today. Heading to the Adventures Guild, we found Marlon and Robin in talks about expanding the guild, and after Asmodeus put forth the crazy $500,000 of gold to pay for it, I was left in charge of collecting 600 wood for the expansion to get started. We planted down some more summer squash, added to our mushroom collection, and shipped off a random assortment of stuff again to try and get our money up, as I think at this point I was aiming for the next backpack upgrade. A bit of tree clearing before bed meant we could lay down some more of the paths between our crops, and off to bed we went. Would you believe it if I said that binning leveled up again as we slept? Because it did, and we learnt the fish casserole recipe. After harvesting some more fire beans on day 10, the mayor let us know that the luau would be happening the next day. Sprinkles provided us with our first silver egg for collection, and we got some dahlias stored away as well for completion. Today was Mara's birthday, and so she got a gold quality strawberry, giving us a good boost to her friendship, and we went fishing for some sturgeon. One for the luau tomorrow, one for caviar later, and another for the community center. And we got a couple of artifacts for the museum too, so it wasn't a bad fishing day. We immediately dropped one of those sturgeon off at the community center and dropped off the largemouth bass there later, completing another bundle. We found a shiny rainbow shell foraging on the beach, and at home we set up a new chest just for keeping track of all the feathers for completion. New georgia was also added to collection, and we went to bed. With a storm approaching the next day, on day 11 we got 4 lightning rods crafted with a chest to auto collect them for us, and got all our summer forage harvested, storing away one of each quality for completion, made another batch of seeds, and shipped the rest for some cash. In the mail we got a zebra cactus to plant, a recipe from Maru to make a boba station, and then we headed to the luau where we bought some watermelon seeds and a kiwi fruit starters. I thought when I bought the kiwi we'd get 1 harvest this season, but I did miscalculate, but we can always buy them next year instead. The governor was happy with the fish I had added to the soup. It wasn't the best quality sturgeon, but it was better than nothing and would give us some friendship with everyone in the valley. We got those watermelons and kiwis planted afterwards and then headed on to bed. The lightning was everywhere as we harvested our first summer spangle and poppy the morning of day 12, deciding to ship them off as we will grow more the following year. A hoodia cactus had been sent to us in the mail for planting, and with the rain the mushrooms were out in force at the bus stop, where we got a meringue, cinnamon bracket, chicken of the woods, silverleaf, black trumpet, as well as another violet starling feather. We ran back home to drop it all off, completing the violet feather collection, so we can ship any extras now that we get for cash. Our pickaxe was ready for collection, and now we can unlock the farm quarry. We dropped off a rusty spur at the museum, caught the shad as they only come out in the rain, found a shooting star, and finally got the red snapper. We made a note to build a barn, silo, stables, and to move the house at some point, and dropped off those 2 fish at the community center. We found an inky cap on the way home and mined our way into the farm quarry, clearing out the whole area, and hopefully having this area open now will help us gather ores a little easier. Fishing leveled up as we slept, and the rain continued on in the morning of day 13, and Alex got an amethyst for his birthday, and we headed to the mines this day. We hit level 82 today and got a decent amount of ores while we were at it, and an indigo milk cap, as well as another cinnamon bracket was grabbed near the farm as we headed to bed. Combat leveled up, as did binning, where we unlocked the advanced recycling machine. We learnt pancakes on day 14, and then looked at the expensive recipe for the new advanced recycling machine. Our first blueberries were ready, so we shipped 15 and added 1 of each quality to the item collection chest. And I forgot to mention, we had also been harvesting the casino coins from the Monster Crops mod, and we stored away a normal and silver quality one. Having a cutscene with Demetrius, he seemed weird that I was getting close to Maro, and I was happy to tell her about it. But that seemed like the smart decision to make, so it's all good. This was the day we finally pushed back our house to its forever home, and I can't wait for us to be able to start decorating the farm and making it beautiful. We petted Dusty, because of course he is the best boy, and started separating out bulk storage from the collection items until we find a more permanent home for everything. The first of our gold was smelted, so we got the first 2 quality sprinklers set down, meaning we can now buy more crops without worrying about watering, moving the old sprinklers over to fill out the rest of this corner. Yet another rainy day on day 15, and our first gold quality brown and white eggs for the item collection were waiting for us. The underground cave found us a silver apricot, and with it being another rainy day, the bus stop got us a dawn's trumpet, candle snuff fungus, jack-o'-lantern, death cap, portobello mushroom, earth star, and cinnamon bracket. We picked up a request from Haley for a hot pepper, buying 8 more melon seeds, and the muchly coveted second backpack upgrade, as the loot goblin in me needs to collect everything. Clint got gifted an aquamarine, and we cracked open some new geodes, allowing us to donate 2 more minerals to the museum. Marnie was throwing out some cloth in the trash, and after dropping off all of our new mushrooms into the item collection chest, we finished off the lovebird feather collection. So this is something else we can now just focus on shipping for the money. We placed the battery in the tunnel, getting us the quest to place a rainbow shell in the train station, and then we headed on to bed. We learned how to make a loom as we slept, waking up on day 16, finding Emily at our door telling us we can use her sewing machine now that we got our first piece of cloth. We got our first piece of maple syrup, immediately using it to make a beehive, placing it down next to the dahlia to see if these modded flowers would have their own types of honey. And it looks like it might actually have some. Pierre had sent us several star cactus seeds to plant. We got a whole load of items dropped off at the community center and managed to complete the summer crops bundle, which rewarded us with an extra quality sprinkler, and I am more than happy to take all the help I can get. Haley got the hot pepper she wanted, getting us another prize ticket, and we used that to get our first star drop tea, giving it to Evelyn. Georgie received the cauliflower she'd requested from last season, and Lenny got a gold quality pepper for her birthday. 2 more tappers were set up on the maple trees, and on our way to the train station we finally met Electo for the first time. And then we dropped off the rainbow shell for the next quest, which we won't be able to do until the autumn season. Day 17 was Alex's birthday, and after being confused that the birch trees gave us some eggs, we shipped one off and turned the other into some mayo. We cleared some more trees from the farm, gifted Alex a silver quality apricot, and set our axe up for an upgrade. Finally, we had the wood for repairing the beach bridge after our earlier tree clearing, and then it was off to the community center to finish off the artisan bundle, which got us our first keg. The wine and juice can now begin to flow. We added some beach forage to the item collection chest, set some spiceberry wine being made, as we're going to need 4 of each wine to get all the qualities for all the crops, added some more flowers into the item collection, and finally started organizing all our bulk storage items, setting up chests for minerals, artifacts, fish, batteries and ores before heading off to sleep. Foraging improved as we slept, unlocking the resin crafting bench, but that particular mod we're going to hold out on for a little while until we have a good stockpile of artifacts to use with it. And with the archaeology level up, we chose the Pioneer perk for more artifact spawn point. The green rain was here on day 11, turning some of our trees into mossy one, and weeds were everywhere for us to gather much needed fiber. We headed back to the mines, obtaining the obsidian edge on 490, and called it there for a day with a good haul of gems and 76 gold ore. Mining leveled up from our yesterday expedition, and on day 19 our second round of summer forage was ready to harvest. We set down 1 more quality sprinkler, collected our copper axe, played with Alex, talked to Willie about his boat, and bought some bait. Gave Demetrius gold strawberry for his birthday and learned how to make some amanita tea from Marlin. More mushrooms and forage were added to the item collection chest. We cleared another corner of the farm of trees and got 2 more quality sprinklers set down and shipped off some more items, including lemon thyme and sweet basil for the shipping collection. And to finish off the night, we continued to organize our bulk storage, making a chest for fruit, vegetables and flowers. Thunderstorms greeted us again on day 20 with mail from Demetrius showing us how to make a frozen treat machine, as well as a request from him for a melon. The dahlia honey was ready as well, but we will hold on to it for now for the item collection, and with the rain came the usual mushroom harvesting from the bus stop. Willie got a tomato he had requested, and we headed to the mines, getting down to level 97 that night with another decent haul, including our first squid ink, which we decided to ship off. We realized we had everything needed to completely finish off the boiler room in the community center today, so we rushed over to get it completed before putting down 2 more quality sprinklers before bed. We did collapse on our front porch that night, unfortunately, but it was all worth it. Minecart now repaired, meaning we will be able to quickly travel around the entire valley. Although I completely forgot that we can use them for several in-game days after this. The binning skill reached level 10 as we slept, and we chose Reclaimer for more money when trashing items, and on the morning of the 21st we learned how to make Mackie rolls. The Hoodia cactus had its first crop this morning, and we got some more fruit and veg stored away for item collection. We got our first rice seed from the Wandering Merchant, as well as 2 new types of Jola Cola. Tried to buy a silo from Robin but brought wood instead of stone, and decided to spend that evening siling away the grass in the northern farm area with plans to turn this into our tree farm. 2 more quality sprinklers were set up again today, and we set up some bulk storage for herbs, spices and forage items. Day 22 started with a star cactus ready for harvest. We shipped one off and then hopped over to visit Robin to get the silo we couldn't get the day before. From the looks of it, we'll be able to fit 4 silos in the area above our house, so that will be the long-term goal. I chatted to Demetrius and he told me the history of the valley. We found our first ornamental fan at the beach and fished to try and catch the tuna and tilapia. But we failed, so the new plan was to try and get the iridium rod as soon as possible to make things a little easier for us. The clearing of the area around the broken down shed for the future tree farm was almost finished that night, and we shipped off many excess crops to hit the 7.5k goal for the iridium rod. A crow got at the fire beans on day 23, so we set up our second scarecrow, and it was off to the beach for the iridium rod after last night's profits. It was then I realized we had completely forgotten about the trout derby this year, so I guess that is also something on the list for the following year. But the rod at least provided, and we managed to catch the tilapia and the tuna. We gave Vincent a battery for his birthday before heading over to complete the ocean bundle. We stocked up on wood on the way home and finished clearing out the area for the tree farm. It was late in the night, but I realized then we still had corn and the first watermelons to harvest, so we shipped them all off for a tidy profit, but I did remember to hold on to one of the normal silver and gold quality watermelons for the item collection. Spiceberry wine greeted us on day 24 as it had completed silo, and with the second helping of Dahlia honey, we shipped it off for over 500 gold. Sprinkles gave us our first silver white egg, and we headed on over to give Willie a diamond for his birthday. Clint opened several more ores, meaning we could donate 3 more minerals to the museum, plus the ornamental fan we'd found earlier. We added our first gold quality mayo to the item collection and spent a good chunk of the day laying out more of the paths in the farm, and before bed we stocked up on wood so we could help upgrade the Adventures Guild tomorrow. We learned how to make kegs and oil makers as we slept, and on day 25 we started to get our first large egg from Sprinkles. Willie taught us how to make chowder, and Gunther told us that we could make our own fans with bird feathers. Luckily though, they were not the ones that we had been shipping. George was requesting a hot pepper for his knee, but we had more important things to do today as the tree farm needed building. We set down 15 of each tree aside from birch and mahogany and headed on over to Robin's with the wood for the Adventures Guild. We got the paths down around the tree farm and set up the chests ready for the future, although one of them doesn't appear to be activating with the automate mod, so I do need to figure that out. And with a quick maple syrup harvest before bed, we got 3 more beehives ready for the flowers for next season. Sleep provided more knowledge in foraging and archaeology that night, and on the rainy morning of day 26, Robin was there to tell us the Adventurers Guild upgrade would be ready tomorrow. After a round of blueberry harvesting, we ventured to buy our second rare seed from the traveling merchant and headed to the mines for the day. On level 100, we got our first star drop, only 6 more to go, and we managed to get onto level 108. We finally remembered as well that day that the minecarts had been fixed and used them to get home. And this turned out for the best, as it also meant we could get that rainy day harvest at the bus stop, which got us 7 more mushrooms of various qualities for the item collection. The fighting in the mine leveled us up that night, and we chose the fighter perk, waking up on day 27 to a decent harvest of melons and summer forage. Marlon let me know in the mail the guild had been upgraded and that new people had come to stay, and we managed to get 5 new quality sprinklers set up this morning. The area is now nearly completely full of all the sprinklers that we need now. In the mines we got down to level 115 before running out of energy, so we went to meet the new people at the guild, and it turns out they are Marlon's nephew and niece, Gabrielle and Zinnia, and they are here to undertake some monster research, so I can't wait to help them out. Mining leveled up that night, and we woke up on the last day of summer in year 1 of our ultimate collection challenge to the bread recipe from the Queen of Sauce. In the mail we received 3 aloe vera saplings from Linus, so we planted them down as they will grow into the autumn, as well as the sashimi recipe. Demetrius let us know the moonlight jellies would be at the beach tonight, and we spent a good chunk of the day getting the farm ready for autumn, tilling the soil and planting down some summer forage to hold the watered areas. The wandering trader supplied us with our 3rd rare seed ready for autumn, as well as the generic jelly item. Now we just need generic pickles and wine from her, but she did also have some new Juricola types for us to purchase. We gathered a decent amount of amber moondrop berries from foraging in Cindersnap Forest that evening before we headed on to the moonlight jellies, but not before we saw Linus rummaging through George's trash. We bought the moonlight jellies banner, and after that we watched the moonlight jellies arriving at the pier in the dark of the night. With a new season comes new mods, this time adding a mod that adds lots of new trash, 2 new fish mods, a mod that adds a lot more artisanal goods, and also one adding more crops and recipes. After collecting our eggs for the day, we sived away the dead crops from summer. We checked through all the new items for shipping with the new mods, got down any seeds we already had for the autumn, and received some mail from the wizard mentioning a spell to make flowers bloom forever. The fruit cave provided a good haul of fruit, and looking through the trash we found some mead before heading to Pierre's to top up with more autumn seeds. Caroline showed us her sunroom, which will unlock the tea saplings recipe for us, and after talking to several villagers in town, we got all the seeds planted down. We also planted down a dahlia, iris, fairy rose and zinnia in front of our bee houses to chip away at all the types of honey we are going to need to collect. We chopped some trees, made a drying rack to test it out, but the items we had on hand at the moment didn't work in that machine, so we will come back to it again later. We set up a chest for storing everything from the new trash mod, and that ended our first day of autumn. On day 2, it was Penny's birthday, so we will be getting a gift to her later, and after checking the mail to get that tea sapling recipe, we did our daily egg gathering, managing to add a large white gold quality one to the forever collection of animal products. As we entered into town, we found Robin and Lewis finishing up the new special orders board, because it's not as though we have enough already to be doing in this playthrough. We finished the fall foraging bundle after that, netting us 30 fall seeds, and we turned in a quest to gather wood for Robin. We gave Penny a melon for her birthday, and then saw her try to help George with his mail, though he wasn't best pleased. We chose the curious substance quest from the wizard, but I'm going to tell you now that we do fail at it, and spent a good chunk of the day dumpster diving for all the new trash and coming to the beach for forage. We added some dirty foil, an expired coupon, lost comic and metal scrap to the trash chest. We cut down some more trees, setting up chests for more specific items, one for the unique fish mod, one for the pine tree mod, and one for all of the wine that we're going to start making. More trees were chopped, with chests being set up for our bulk storage for crafting later on. These chests being set away from the forever storage for one of each item, just to try and lessen our confusion a little bit. After momentarily panicking and remembered we hadn't planted our sweet gemberries, we got them down with the aid of some speed grow, and before we headed to bed, we got some items ready for the community center tomorrow. On day 3, we woke up to a wax agave seed from Penny in the mail. We got it planted down, harvested some corn and flowers, did the egg duty, and got some new trash as we headed to the community center. We made progress with several bundles and managed to get the forest bundle complete, which rewarded us with a charcoal kiln. And of course today we checked all the trash cans for even more new trash for us to collect. We donated 5 new items to the museum while we were over in town, getting us a rare crow and the skeleton figure. Our attention then turned to fishing in town to see what new fish we could get from the mods, and we hooked a pacu. We also caught a tiger trout here and ran to the mountains to try and catch some more fish up there. We caught a pangasius and a clown knifefish before heading home. Stored away a potentially expired coupon, an old alien game, and a 6-pack yolk. Opening up some Joja boxes as well, we fished up, we got some new drinks for the collection. Cola Void and Cola Cherry. We set up some new chests for keeping track of everything from the Succulents mod and More Fish mod, and to finish off the night we shipped off a big excess of crops we had for a boost in cash, getting us just over 3.5k. Day 4 was a rainy day, with Marlon having sent us over some slimy seeds. We added a normal quality large brown egg to the Forever collection, gathered all the mushrooms at the bus stop, backwoods and mountains, found a femur in the trash, and headed on into the mines. And on this day of autumn, we finally reached the bottoms of the mine, collecting the skull key. Our haul from that trip was okay, 30 gold ore and 4 diamonds for us to take home. We used this time to reset the frozen floors to try and find the ectoplasm for the wizard. However, we did not manage to find it today. We remembered again that we actually had use of the minecarts, and coming home we dropped off everything, including all the new mushrooms we found in today's rain. Day 5 was Elliot's birthday, and so we picked up some pelican mint to gift to him. Our bok choy was ready, and we decided to ship all of it up except for one of each quality to store in the forever storage. Eggs were turned into mayo as usual, and we began to gather some extra wood with plans to build a barn. We bought a cola jacked from the wandering trader to add to the collection, and we got that barn haphazardly thrown down soon after. But don't worry, this is not going to be the final resting place for it. The farm will be decorated, it will be organized, and it will be beautiful eventually. We bought some spinach from Pierre, bought some iron from Clint, and in some sort of luck we found a prismatic shard while trash diving. It also looks like we are going to be needing some extra ones in this playthrough as they are needed for crafting some artisanal goods. Heading home, we got an aluminium can, missing key, discarded feathers, and busted battery. And opening a new Jojo Cola box, we got a new drink, Jojo Cola Rip. Spinach was planted, iron was smelted, and we headed to bed for the night. It was raining again on day 6, but the eggplant harvest was waiting for us. And in the mail, we received notice that we can now place prismatic shards in a crystallarium. However, I do think for this challenge, we will set the rule that we need to find all prismatic shards ourselves. We bought some bait from Willy, stored away some parsnip juice, and headed to the mines to fish, managing to catch a few new ones. The bull trout, red-tailed shark, and walleye. With the walleye caught, we ran to the beach, catching the grenadier, coffin fish, and ghost eel, and we got it all stored up and slept the night away. Fishing leveled up as we slept into day 7, and we learned how to make some tortillas from the Queen of Sauce. Shipping off our first piece of aloe and storing away the extras in the forever chests, we collected fiber from the area of Grandpa's shed. Selling some blueberries to Pierre, we then gave a cookie to Louise that was straight from his trash. At Clint's, we asked for a steel axe upgrade and then found him at the summit of the mountain, saying he could get us access up to the top if we provided him with some materials. We decided to head to Mount Vapius, seeing a heartwarming reunion between Moira and her grandmother Celestine. On our way up the mountain, we found a fossilized moth and unlocked the first of the Junimo bundles for this area, and it looks like we're going to need amber, lace flowers, and moon pods to complete it. So I guess we're going to need to come and visit here more regularly to get what we need. After a spot of fishing here, we found our first fish from Mount Vapius, the Vapius roach, white vendace, and alpine char. And exploring east of the mountain, we found some white grapes on a vine and a fossilized starfish. We set up a pale ale processing when we got home and headed to bed for the night. As we slept into day 8, our combat and archaeology skill leveled up again, and we woke up to mail from Linus saying he had lost his berry basket. The amaranth and cranberries were ready to harvest, so we got that done, and stored away one of each quality of amaranth and cranberries in the forever chests. Of course, we did our egg duties, cleared out the bat cave, sold some produce to Pierre, and restocked with oats and sweet potato seeds. After failing the Curious Substance quest, we chose Emily's rock rejuvenation this week, and Clint told us what we would be needing to blow the boulder to the mountain summit. Gunther got a ghost crystal, and it turned out Marnie was throwing out some wool. We gave her some amaranth she requested for her cows and escorted Jazz home after she got lost in the woods. Fishing at the forage lake, we caught our first tench and goldfish before heading to the wizard to learn about these everlasting flowers. He requested we grow a fairy rose to move the quest along, so we will have to come back later. And before we left, we stocked up on some more slimy seeds. After a round of foraging in Cindersnap, we got this sweet potato, oat, and slimy seeds planted on down, setting up the slime seeds away from the farm as I do not trust these seeds at all. And today we started recycling the extra trash we had on hand now from the trash mod. Some of these items can be recycled into quite useful things after all, such as duck feathers and batteries. The wool we found at Marnie's was shipped off, and a new cola called Blue Jazz was added to the Forever collection. And after setting up a few items in a chest to get dehydrated later, we headed on to bed. Marnie had left us a feeding basket in the mail overnight, which will let us give treats to our animals. Suspicions were confirmed as the first of the flowers were ready today, and it looks like we would be getting lots of different flower honeys with all the mods. More to collect, but of course that's why we're doing this challenge. Spinach, sweet potatoes, wax agave, and some fall seeds were ready for harvest, and it looks like the slime seeds do attract slimes to the farm, so we quickly dispatched them. We got 1 spinach and sweet potato shipped and stored one of each of their qualities in the forever storage. The pale ale was ready, so we replaced that with some hot pepper wine and got 4 more quality sprinklers set down. We found a moon gold apricot on the road and picked up Lannis's berry basket, picked up a request from Robin to gather some wood, and collected our shiny new steel axe. Pam got her pale ale, we found some stuffing in the trash outside of Olivia's, bought some fairy roses, turnips, and chrysanthemums from Pierre, and got the wood request from Robin turned in. Turning in a request got us a new ticket, so we used that to get ourselves a lovely new bed. We planted on down the new crops, set up another quality sprinkler, and placed down Linus's basket on a sign as proof we found it before going to sleep in the bed we just got. The wizard had sent us some sunset seeds on day 10, which apparently wander towards the sunset, so we got them planted down and watered before killing new slimes on our farm. This day got us a small brown silver quality egg, so now we have all the chicken egg types aside from the iridium quality for the forever collection. Another maple syrup harvest was ready, and we were finally able to enter Marnie's room to pick up the mayor's purple shorts. Following this, we got our first 2 cows, calling them Col and Crispy after my friends on the backyard. There were a few gems that we were missing for Emily's request after this, so we headed to the mines to get what we were missing, and also topped up our stores of iron with 81 more to take home and headed on to bed that night. Our farming leveled up as we slept into day 11, meaning we can now make iridium quality sprinklers when we have the ore, and we picked up a gift to give to Jody later for her birthday. 3 more beehives were set up, the sunset seeds had begun wandering to the sunset, and our next harvest of corn, eggplant and yam was ready for us. We set up a sign with the mayor's shorts, moved the chicken coop out the way to a temporary location, gave Linus his basket, the mayor his shorts, and Jody her birthday gift. Gunther was given 2 more items for the museum, getting us some new seeds, the star-shaped flower seeds, and Gus and I had a chat to Pam about paying off her tab as the saloon wasn't doing too well financially. And while we were there, it also looks like Luna enjoys quite a strong drink. Emily got the gems for her quest, and we finally finished up the starter crop area with all the quality sprinklers before heading to bed. The oats were ready on the rainy day of the 12th, and we got one shipped off for completion. We decided today to move all our tappers to the new tapper area in the northern farm area, and did some forage up in the mountains for some potential new mushrooms. We got a shad in the rain, and turned in our new prize ticket for 4 more quality sprinklers. The more the better, as the crop empire must grow. Fishing in town, we caught a few new catfish, a walleye, and at the beach we got ourselves an albacore and an eel. The needed fish were taken to the community center, getting us the nightfish bundle completed with a free glow ring to go alongside it. New trash in the form of a pill bottle and worn tire was stored away, and the new crops were set down to fill up the empty patches. And we also got a new cola that day, Joja Gamer, before heading on to bed. The rain continued coming down on day 13, and after a cranberry and broccoli harvest, we set up our preserves jars to make some cranberry jelly. Dispatching the new slimes on our farm got us the woodcutters weekly, leveling up our foraging skill, and Robin had a request to gather some stone. We invested a good amount of money today on pumpkins and decided to spend some time breaking geodes and donating to the museum. Gunther today got a dwarven helmet, some slate and glass shards to add to his collection, which rewarded us with another rare crow and new bear statue. After this, we fished until we got the tiger trout, which we were missing for the community center, immediately heading to complete the riverfish bundle and receiving some deluxe bait for completing it. The rainy evening was spent getting those pumpkins all planted down with a super rushed foraging exploration at the beach before jumping into bed at 1:40 a.m. A fairy came in the night and our foraging leveled up as we slept, learning the trout recipe from the Queen of Sauce as we woke ourselves up on day 14. Abigail had left us some blue candle cactus in the mail, and after harvesting some pumpkins and also storing away one of each turnip quality in forever storage, we got the new cactus planted down. After a little bit of organization, we talked to Abigail about journeying to the Prairie King. We bought some more pumpkin seeds and got the fall crop bundle completed, which got us another beehive. Returning home, we got one of each pumpkin quality stored away in the forever storage, did some tree clearance, and crafted some crab pots to set up on the beach. We turned in Robin's stone request and got the crab pots down at the beach with a chest for automated collection. Marnie had thrown out a duck egg, so we took that for our own collection and got all the new pumpkin seeds planted down before it was sleepy time. Jody was there in the morning of the 15th, inviting us to dinner if we brought a largemouth bass along, and Haley had left us the crafting recipe for a crystal ball in the mail. Corn, tulips, and our first baby boo squash were ready for harvest today, and so we shipped one off alongside some dried blackberries. We made our first 2 cheese presses to get the cheese making going, storing away any new quality milk in the forever storage. 2 more tappers were made for the maple trees, and most of our slimy fruit was now ready for harvest. We shipped one off, setting up a chestnut specifically for all the possible versions of magical crops over in the forever storage area, and we placed inside of there the slime fruit and casino coins. We decided to buy some more eggplants to fill in the gaps in our farm, and headed to the mines to kill 20 green slimes for Gabriel. Gabriel was very happy to hear about it when we paid him a visit, and he said he would study the strange slime gems we had been finding during our time felling the slimes, and we returned home once more to sleep. Gabriel was waiting for us when we left home on day 16, telling us he had found a recipe for a slime soul which he wanted us to make for him by combining 10 slime gems and a life essence, but we are going to need starfruit for that. Sweet potatoes and eggplants again were ready for harvest, and we put down some fairy roses in the empty spots. I feel like for this year at least, I have no real plan of action for what crops or flowers to grow to collect everything, so if it all seems a bit random so far, it kind of is. But going into year 2, we will make plans to focus on specific items or mods to complete one by one or in tandem with others. Today was the Stardew Valley Fair, so we got our display set up, and while Lewis went to inspect it, we gambled for some star tokens. Now, we were very unlucky at first, but we did eventually get there in the end, allowing us to get that important star drop, a new rare crow, and a Joja Cola premium box. We gambled a little more to get the remaining 2 premium boxes, and Lewis then told us that we had won the fair. I completely forgot that winning netted me 1,000 tokens, so I used them to buy the cornucopia, dried sunflowers and light green rug, so we don't need to worry about them again in the future. After returning home, we opened 2 of the premium Joja boxes, netting us a Joja Comet and Cola Blue for the collection. We shipped off a battery for completion at the start of day 17, using today to try and tick off several more items for the community center. We completed the Foragers bundle, getting us 3 more tappers, the Quality Crops bundle getting us another preserve jar, and the Wild Medicine bundle for 2 cookout kits. The Wizard was offering the Curious Substance quest again this week, and so we chose it. Better luck second time around. We bought a load of bait from Willy and then saw a cute cutscene from Abigail and Luna in Cindersnap Forest where Abigail said that Luna was her friend. We found a magical fruit as we went to finally explore the backwoods, which got us a few new forageables while we were there. And fishing here we caught the woodskip, tancho koi, and a water lily. Rain was falling again on day 18 and we could harvest a lot of chrysanthemums, cranberries, and turnips today. Another batch of honey was ready for shipping, and we went over to give Marnie a pink cake for her birthday. This rainy day, we wanted to head to Mount Vapius, as we wanted to get hardwood for the stables, as not only will the horse allow us to move around quicker, but the saddlebags will also help us with storage when we are out exploring. More than enough was collected while we were there, including a new mushroom, the wood goat mushroom, as well as a fossilized ammonite. We set down some birch seeds at the tree tapper area for later, shipping off the first oak resin and pine tar for shipping completion. 3 more tappers were set up and off to bed we went. On day 19, I forgot to change my screen from starting soon to the actual Stardew gameplay footage for a couple of minutes, but it was mostly me reacquainting myself with where I left it off the last time we played, so I've got to thank Chrissy for pointing that out to me while I was streaming. But anyway, as we were exploring, we found a few new mushrooms, we found a purple fairy club, turkey tail, almond bonnet, and we also found a thistle on our way to the mine. And by some stroke of luck, there was a galaxy soul in the Adventurers Guild's trash. Robin and Demetrius were arguing over a tomato being a vegetable or a fruit when I arrived at their home, and of course I sided with Robin before asking her to start work on the stable for us. Then it was finally off to the mines to try and find that ectoplasm for the wizard. It took us a fair few hours, but at 9:50 that night, we managed to finally get it. We dropped off all the new mushrooms at home, having to set up another chest as the original mushroom chest was already full, and I am going to have to calculate very soon how many chests we are going to need for the mushroom mod, as I think a recent update to it also means that all of them can now have a dried version in the dehydrator. It's more items, it's more of a challenge, and we do love to see it. We also set up a chest at the entrance of the farm in case I forget something and need to quickly retrieve it. A sign was set up to prove we had collected the ectoplasm, and again, we went to bed for the night. Day 20 was the Ridgeside Gathering Festival, and as I felt I had been avoiding Ridgeside of late, I decided I should pay it a visit. After harvesting more eggplants and chrysanthemums, the beach and the trash here gave us a free mermaid pendant. I guess the mariner was annoyed no one had been coming on those rainy days to buy one from him. We dropped off all of the forage at home, realizing today that we could actually get the greenhouse restored that night by getting some large milk over the community center. Completing the bundle did net us another cheese press, but having the greenhouse is way more important than that item. The festival at Ridgeside ended up actually being worth a visit, as they had an iridium sprinkler for a mere 1600 gold, so you know we bought it. They were also selling a banana sapling, and thinking back now I should probably have bought it, but well, there's always next year if we still don't have it by the time the festival comes round again. The greenhouse was restored as we slept, and we woke up on day 21 to the glazed yams recipe from the Queen of Sauce. The sunset flowers continued their journey to the west, and we set that iridium sprinkler up inside the greenhouse before harvesting a good amount of eggplants, fairy roses, and broccoli. We gave the wizard the ectoplasm finally, as we had been unable to do so yesterday due to the festival. Marnie got a cave carrot, which we just threw on the floor, and we decided to accept a few quests from the bulletin board. Pierre was more than happy to sell us some rosemary seeds when we paid him a visit. George got a red pepper, Evelyn an orange, the prize ticket got us an apple sapling, Carmen got a cart for her birthday, Sam got a bahidaj, netting us another ticket. We said hi to the beautiful June in the saloon, and took that ticket to the community center, completing the helpers bundle and getting us a Stardrop tea. Demetrius got a melon, and afterwards Linus showed us how to make wild bait. Returning home, we shipped off some maple syrup for shipping completion, planted down the rosemary, and turned our 2 remaining strawberries into seeds, as this is one of the 6 crops we are going to keep growing in the greenhouse for passive profits. We also got 2 salal berries set down there, as this will be our second of 6 crops here before heading to sleep, and today definitely felt like it had been a busy day. We slept reaching level 10 in farming that night, and looking at the options, I definitely made a mistake in the past, as I was wanting to choose the artisan option instead of these ones. I guess we'll have to reset it later in the sewers once we can unlock that area, and with the mods we have, that does mean getting our friendship up with Marlon as soon as possible. Anyway, we choose the Coop Master profession for now. Demetrius had sent us the recipe to make Autumn's bounty, and the wizard rewarded us with the mini obelisk crafting recipe for the ectoplasm. Our stables were finally ready, and I called our new horse Cereza after one of my favorite characters from the book that I have written. It was getting difficult to leave the farm on the south side at this point, so we felled some trees to open up the space here and ended up with just over 600 wood. We had our first piece of gold cheese, which we stuck in the forever storage, and all the feathers we got from tree chopping could go to bringing in some more cash. We have almost every feather now, so all normal quality ones can instantly be sold for cash. New week means a new special request, and we went with Linus's community cleanup, as it is quite an easy one to fulfill. Elliot received an eggplant he had received, Victor some corn, and we got a ticket from Robbins for some stone we had collected. After, we went to the bathhouse to fish for trash, which also got us not 1 but 3 of the Vista artworks. We dumped a good amount of trash off that day, but with the sheer amount that we can now collect, we couldn't put it all in the bin. So we will have to come back tomorrow and fish up specific types to add to the collection. A storm happened in the night, and our mining leveled up as we slept, and as we woke up on day 23, Marnie was now offering auto-grabbers for sale, which will come in handy later for us. And today was the day we finally could harvest our sweet gem berries. 1 was sent off for shipping completion, and we decided to hold on to the other 2 for now. Our first sunset drop was finished, so we got it sorted away in forever storage, made another cake for wine, and got another lot of honey shipped for cash. Visiting Lewis, we gave him some trash, as he loves missing keys apparently, and used our latest ticket to get the Friendship 101 book so we can now make friends quicker. As it was a rainy day, there was a chance to earn new mushrooms, and exploring around we found a giant polypore and mushroom of the sun. We went fishing on level 100 of the mines to try and get the special orders done today, managing to get it completed by 7:50 that night. To finish off the day, we added 1 iridium ore and an iron bar to shipping completion before heading to sleep. On day 24, we woke up to mail from Linus, which gave us the fiber seed recipe, and this might be very useful for the crop spots in this coming winter. Sunflowers, broccoli, and blue candle cactus were harvested today, and now I am starting to think that the cactuses, which are classed as flowers, might also have their own honey types, and that's something we're going to have to check going into year 2. We got another quality type for the sunset seeds, which went into forever storage, and as it was George's birthday, he got the finest leek that we had to offer. Victor was at home, and we talked about him joining the Adventurers Guild before giving his mom a sunflower that she had requested. Clint then was paid a visit, as we asked him to upgrade our axe to gold. A new prize ticket for completing Linus's request got us 20 cherry bombs, and we started the quest to rebuild the giant stump. On our way to the wizard, we detoured, getting a new star drop from Old Master Cannoli, and after chatting with the wizard, we were given the recipe to craft an enchanted crystal so we can properly start the Everlasting Flowers mod now. We put down an auto petter in the barn, which Marnie had just thrown into the trash like some absolute maniac, shipping off several mushrooms, which we had duplicates of now, alongside some honey before heading to sleep. On the morning of the 25th, Evelyn was waiting for us and lovingly gifted us a garden pot and the recipe to go with it. George gave us the recipe for fried eel and more eggplants were ready to harvest. We got our first gold star large milk today, so into forever storage it went, as well as our first iridium large brown egg. Caroline got a pumpkin she requested, and we picked up a tea leaf from her sunroom for shipping later, and Evelyn also got a pumpkin as she had been requesting one too. We unfortunately didn't get a mermaid pendant from the beach trash today, but we did get a void ghost pendant instead, and our luck seems to know no bounds this season. A sign was set up for the participation badge for the animal show, which we were not going to be attending tomorrow, as that's something we can focus in on year 2 after we've started giving the animals treat, and afterwards we got 3 more tapas down and 2 more beehives. Looking back, it was probably a waste of time to make the beehives now with winter soon here, but I didn't think about that in the moment, and we had a very early night this night, heading on to bed at 8:30. We woke up on day 26 to the wax cauldron recipe from Evelyn, and we had a big harvest of pumpkins and eggplants today. Pretty much all of it went into the shipping bin for pure profits, as we will be spending a lot of money in the winter on coop and barn upgrades hopefully. Our large egg collection for the chickens was finally complete, and the wandering trader sold us a Joja overcharge as we didn't yet have one for our collection. Clint had finished our axe upgrade, and we immediately got him working on the golden pickaxe afterwards, and we found a new feather in the birch trees today, but this was from Mount Vapius instead of the Atelier mod. We decided to ship it off for now and cut down the remaining birch trees on the main farm, as we had set up a birch tree farm area in the tree tapper section. We also took this time to finish off the tree tapper area by filling in the last little space with more maple seeds to continue the growth of the bee empire. After this, we spent a good long while cutting down trees to open up the farm, even finding Woody's secret, which would give us a 5% chance of trees giving us double the amount of wood. And with over 1,000 wood gathered today, we called it a night. We had more pumpkins on day 27 and got them shipped off for more cash, adding a silver large milk to the forever collection. Today we decided to venture to Mount Vapius, though I'm not entirely sure why, but luckily it was a market day there, and after scrambling for some Mount Vapius coins, we purchased another iridium sprinkle and extra preserves jars. Venturing into Mount Vapius Highlands, we explored to see what new goodies we could find, finding us a medallion, Dahu statuette, black chanterelles, a rusty ring, some moon pods, turquoise, an amber preserved fern, frost apple, crystal rose, and blue cameo. We called the exploration there as Spirit's Eve had begun, buying the jack-o'-lantern recipe and rare crow, while we were there also making quick work of the maze to get that golden pumpkin. After we got home, we turned those moon pods into seeds to plant them temporarily in the greenhouse, as we need 5 of them for the Junimo bundle at Mount Vapius. And that night we reached level 10 in foraging, picking up the Tapper perk. And with that, it was the last day of autumn, and on day 28 we learnt the artichoke dip recipe from the Queen of Sauce. The mayor was waiting at the door, letting us know the governor's wife and son will be staying in the East Scarp Inn, and again, that's another area we haven't really explored much of lately. This final day got us the last of the fairy roses, 1 final harvest of eggplants and cranberries, and the rosemary was also good and ready. We also harvested the flowers, which had been making us our special honey for the autumn season. We witnessed Linus getting clean over in the mountain lake and gifted Susan a chocolate cake for her birthday. Clint had finished our pickaxe, and after we visited Gunther to give him all the strange items we had covered from Mount Vapius, which rewarded us with a candy maker and obsidian vase. The old mariner clearly had too many mermaid pendants, as we found another in the beach trash today, and we set up some common mushrooms to turn into fall seeds to keep the farming spots over into the winter season, which will be starting tomorrow. Our lovely wandering trader had the generic wine for us for our collection, and we got some heaters ready for our animals before winter began. Trees galore were cut down, and some of our common mushrooms had turned into an ancient seed. I really do think that we've had extraordinary luck this season looking back on it now. The ancient seed also reminded me that it was time to open up Grandpa's shed, and this will be the place that we're going to be growing those ancient seeds. And after doing so and venturing inside, the fall seeds were planted on down. And with that, we went to bed. Archaeology leveling up as we did so, unlocking for us a few new interesting recipes. And the autumn season is over. Winter's here, the cold chill has arrived, and so we can focus on getting some of the farm organized and decorated up, as we should maybe, possibly, have less crops to be growing this season. We have a mod adding turkeys and another adding quails. We got a mod adding Grandpa's old cane as a weapon, one adding cocktails and mocktails, and another adding a whole load of baked goods to cook. And to end it off, another which adds several new recipes for marriageable spouses, and one adding the ability to turn sweet gemberries into wine. So let's dive into the winter season, and of course, if you have any ideas for new mods, let me know in the comments. On day 1, Robin was ready and waiting for us, telling us that she would be able to repair Grandpa's shed for us, and we had a mail from Abigail. She wanted an amber fern that we had previously donated to the museum. We got our first eggs and milk of the season and found our first strawberries ready for harvest in the greenhouse. We saved away the dead crops from autumn and planted on down some more strawberry seeds after using some of the harvest in the seed maker. We met Josephine and her grandson Oliver at the bus stop, Louis using fancy words that even Oliver thought was strange. The shadow guy up near the community center gave us the ability to start finding hidden notes, and then of all things we found an iridium bar in the saloon's trash. At Pierre's we remembered about the 6 crops for winter mod we had, and so bought some gentian, napa cabbage, daikon, and winter broccoli seeds from it, as well as some mint seeds to keep some money rolling in during the season. We got it all planted down, severely misremembering how many crop spots we had, so back to Pierre's we went for those 3 lilac pansies and giant snowdrops, and a good amount of mint and pansy seeds. With all the spots now mostly full on the farm, we started the great reorganization of winter. First getting the chest and recycling machine for the crab pots moved down to the beach area, with the crab pots going to be moved tomorrow once they had used up their bait. We had a bit of extra honey left over from autumn to ship off, so off it went alongside today's mayo and cheese with a little bit of jam and cloth. We decided on this day to sell off any fruit and vegetables we had if we had more than 10 of them of a certain quality. The forever chests were moved over the river to a new temporary area, with any machines not currently making anything moved west of the crops, again to a new temporary area while we figure out the decorations of the farm. And with that, we slept, making 13 grand on our first night. On day 2, Jody sent us some purple iris seeds in the mail, but we will have to wait until spring to grow them. We picked up all the crab pots after emptying them with more mail, telling us we could buy a wood chipper from Robin, and Willie was asking us to catch a squid. The crab pots were placed down in their new homes, and when we visited Robin, she told us we would be needing quite an extensive amount of items to get Grandpa's shed usable again. Linus got a silver quality crystal fruit, and we found our first sugar plum on the way back home, where we then moved our lightning rods to their forever homes. East of the farm, there is a large area being unused right now, so we opened up a space, got a floor down, and set up the new lightning rods over there. A few more chests were moved west of the crops. We found a new piece of trash for the trash mod, and at the community center we got the winter forage bundle complete, meaning we can now unlock the bridge over to the quarry, which is going to help us out a lot with our lack of coal. Heading to the saloon, we shared a drink with Elliot. We went straight to his head and set him off dancing, afterwards gifting a salad to Leah and beer to Pam and Shane. We decided today to pick up Robin's resource rush, as we were bound to be chopping down lots of trees while we were getting the farm all sorted this season, and after some beach foraging, we filled up the final empty spots we had on the farm with winter seeds, moving the kegs west of the crops, which finally gave us an open area to detail and organize. The bridge was repaired as we slept, and on day 3 it was Linus's birthday, so we got a gold quality yam ready for him. Our drying racks had provided us with our first product, dried rosemary, and in the greenhouse we temporarily set up some new crops that we would be needing: starfruit, powder melons, and ancient fiber. We picked up a decent amount of mushrooms that we had been accumulating in the mushroom cave, which we could ship off for cash, found a new type of feather which must only be available during winter, and Linus got his birthday gift, which got us super close to only needing one more friendship heart with him. At Robin's we got the shipping bin and pet ball moved, buying some new path recipes before getting the lovely cutscene between Linus and Robin. I said I was pleased Linus was doing well, and that immediately maxed out our friendship. One friendship down, only about 80 more to go. Our peach tree continued to give us special fruit for the winter, and we completed the collection of verdigris agaric. The new feather got stored away, and we spent a little time setting up an area for all the rare crows. We got a path down from our house, at first using the stepping stone path blocks, but I changed it to gravel in the end, and we got our 4 rare crows sat down in this area. And I must say, I like this area. It is rather simple and cute. I might plant down some grass later on, or flowers, but we'll have to see, so let me know in the comments what you think of this small area so far. We set up a bit of a stone path across the bridge, and in the lightning rod area we got a stone walkway down with hardwood fences on top to encase the lightning rods inside, opening up a little more of the area afterwards. Chests were organized a little, and we found our first cinder snap cinnamon and juniper berries as we headed to the quarry for that all important coal. and we managed to clear out the whole area of stone and iron ores that night before ending the night with a total of over 100 coal. We set up a small area in the greenhouse for green beans, which may seem strange, but the bean hotpot is a great source of food for me, so this is going to be our third of 6 crops that we're going to be growing here. And off to bed we went. On day 4, Linus had sent us the recipe for fish tacos, as well as sending a largemouth bass in the mail. We got some fences set down to finish off the path to our home, and moving up to the tree farm, we started decorating it up with stone walkways and fences. We cleared out a good sized area which will be our forever home for our animals, getting Robin's resource rush finished up. After we cut down some grass near the northern side of the river, with plans for this area to be where we store the archaeology mod items, as well as the base game artifact and minerals, which we set up chests for here. This means we suddenly had 26 new items stored away forever, which was a good chunk of progress. We set up several items in the dehydrator for profit, picking up the beehives and clearing out an area where they will be forever moved to before heading on to sleep. On day 5, because we finished Robin's resource request, we were given the stone chest recipe. We set up some pumpkin wine being made and set down our beehives again. The first setup I didn't really like, so we moved them all again, and I will need to come back to set it all up to be automated later with the automate mod. This area is merely for us to focus on getting all the different types of honey, and we will not be using this area for our large money making, which will come later. Shane was passed out in his room, but we skipped that cutscene to avoid traumatizing Jazz, and it was then I remembered Marnie also sells seeds, and I've really got to start remembering this into year 2. We bought 2 new chickens, naming them Emchimu and Pale of Pears, again players from the backyard server, and that means we have 2 white and brown chickens now, allowing us to check them off as completed. We got the stables moved to its forever home, as well as the coop and barn, immediately afterwards choosing to upgrade the coop. Robin then gave us a ticket for collecting some wood, and we got 8 more strawberries down in the greenhouse. Willie got a pumpkin as a gift, Olivia some corn, Demetrius a strawberry, Demay a hot pepper, George a leek, Shane a hot pepper, Abigail a pumpkin, Leah a salad, and Pam and Andy a beer. And after a good day of gifting, we turned in 2 tickets for a sports cap and fish smoker before ending up in the secret woods where we found our first bearberries. And after such a busy day, we headed on to bed. The wizard had sent us some more magical seeds on day 6 called balance seeds. Willie had sent the recipe for escargot, and Emily gave us some wool in the mail. We got those seeds haphazardly placed using a new iridium sprinkler we crafted, and we also set down the new fish smoker from yesterday. The first of our mint was ready, so we got it harvested, placing some to be dried and pickled, deciding to ship off most of it as we were bound to grow lots more this season. We set up some coal in the fish smoker and got 33 fish ready to smoke that we had spare, which will be a good boost to our forever collection. The moon pods were finally ready, so we moved the iridium sprinkler over to the salal berries and got the first harvest of salals turning into seeds. 1 of each quality of mint was then stored away in a new forever chest for herbs, and after tending to the animals, it was time for another gifting day. Jazz got a fairy rose, Vincent a sand dollar. We detoured briefly to Pierre's to buy some more seeds, including a striped quill bulb, before continuing the gift giving Evelyn a fairy rose, George a leek, Jody and Maru a diamond, Louis a hot pepper, and Kiahi a crocus. We got all that mint planted down, planting a giant snowdrop, lilac pansy, and striped quill in front of the beehive. We did have to change our mod settings so bees create honey outdoors in winter, so we will have to wait a little while to see if we can actually make specific types of honey in this season. More powder melons went down around those balance seeds, which I really don't understand. Their growth cycle is weird, and we started to set up an area for animal product processing for the future, making sure we get those cheese makers and mayo machines moved on the same day. We shipped off 1 smoked item for the shipping collection, and off to bed we went. Pierre awaited us as we left our home on day 7, telling us he would have even more crops for sale next year, and Robin let us know the coop upgrade was finally done. The Queen of Saws taught us how to make plum pudding, and it was Caroline's birthday, so we picked up a meadow violet to give to her later. We moved the dehydrator to give us space to get more paths laid out on the farm, harvesting a load of pansies and 3 lilac pansies as well. A good portion of those were shipped off for cash before harvesting our daikon. Now this mod appears to be glitching because we harvested over 500 from that small harvest, and I don't want to use all of it to get lots of cash as it does seem a bit cheaty, so we only shipped off 20, stored some later for cooking and processing, and threw the rest in the river. we put a chest next to the barn for our milk pail and got 11 more salal seeds down after placing the fruit in the seed maker the other day. We bought another bunch of mint from Pierre's and got that meadow violet to Caroline for her birthday. The beach had a good amount of forage and the crab pots there had a few new items for us. It was out of bait, so we had to make a note to buy more to restock it later. And then we went and bought 2 ducks from Marnie, calling them Chrissy and Void, after 2 lovely people who often hang out in my streams, and found a scorpion carp at the Wandering Trader, which we sorely needed for the community center. We got a new forever chest set up at home for the Fish of Tevat mod, set up some coffee beans we had in the greenhouse as our 4th permanent crop in there, and as part of the winter mission to start getting more things checked off into forever storage, we added a copper, iron and gold bar, as well as the ores for them into storage, alongside iridium ore, a geode, frozen geode, coal, mystery box, batwing, bone fragment, solar essence, bug meat, slime, void essence and refined quartz. We rounded off the day cutting down some more trees near the tree farm as we still had lots of energy, saved some more grass for hay and headed on to bed. Day 8. We woke to a stuffed pepper recipe from Penny and a creme brulee from Maru. 2 more forever chests were made today, one for Mount Vapius artifacts and the other for minerals from there, and we decided to move over the geode, frozen geode and mystery box into the forever minerals. The forever collection for $10, crystal fruit and hazelnuts was completed, as was the daikon. Additionally, into the toolbox went the feeding basket and cleaver, and don't worry, I am not forgetting that at some point we will need to get all of the foraging items and crops as iridium quality. So when I say the collection is completed for item quality, it's just me meaning it's as complete as I can get it for now in our first year. We got more paths down to organize the layout of the farm, and heading on to the Ass Festival, we bought ourselves the next Raycrow, the Icy Banner and Tree of the Winter Star. We caught enough fish to win that fishing challenge, getting us the Sailor's Hat. We got the tree set down in its place and the Raycrow too, so we can check them off as done. We used the last part of our day to move the chest out from under the stables so we can decorate that area up later, got that icy banner hung up, and off to bed we went. On day 9 we got some new recipes from Penny and Maru in the mail, but I will need to check if they actually unlocked as the letter didn't tell us what they were, and Marlon had sent us Grandpa's old cane in the mail after finding it at the Adventurers Guild. The winter seeds had grown, so after harvesting them we got them replaced with more mint, getting 1 of each quality of winter root, snow yam and crocus into forever storage. More strawberries were ready to harvest, so we got them stored away, and shipping off 6 jars of cranberry jelly that we now had. The apple sapling that we got a while ago was finally set down in the greenhouse, and it was off to donate some bundle items after buying some blue rose seeds, and also paying for the 5k bundle in the vault before heading out. A totem got us to Mount Vapius where it was market day, and we found even more beautiful things to add to the list of furniture to buy, also buying 3 rare seeds from the Wandering Merchant ready for next year. Shaking a few trees here got us our first speckled egg, which we could hatch into a speckled fowl, and mining got us 2 new artifacts, the fragment of a fossil 1 and petrified flower. We got our second speckled egg soon after, meaning we can hatch them and have the 2 we need for completion, and we got our first radioactive ore on our way to the Mount Vapius Junimo bundles, getting the amber and moon pods in to finish it off. The Junimos told us we should return the next day as there was going to be a lot more for us to do, and boy, well, I was not prepared for how many things that was going to be. Completing the bundle got us some new seeds, the Night Miscanthus, and a book of combat. Returning home, we dropped everything off and got our first speckled egg incubating before getting that pear sapling planted and some pale ale on the go. As we slept, our combat leveled up, as did our archaeology, meaning we can now craft an infinite volcano simulator, whatever that means. And on day 10, a mysterious new person called Luna let us know that we may run into her in the future as we continue to help the Junimos of Mount Vapius. Salal berries and powder melons were ready to harvest, and after expanding the Salal field, we got 2 qualities of both powder melon and Salal away into forever storage, shipping off 1 of the powder melons for shipping completion. 100 hardwood was then taken to the stump ready for someone to hopefully move in, and today marked the day that we got our first 2 turkeys, naming them BH and Lumble after more people from the backyard. We picked up the cultured yogurt quest today as I thought it might be possible to complete it, but after looking at it, there was no way that I was going to be able to get 50 bottles of milk in 5 days for Marnie. Gunther received all those artifacts we found the other day on Mount Vapius, as well as a chewing stick which rewarded us with a gem polisher. Back at the farm, we made some more sprinklers, deciding to use up every last bit of space we could in the area, which will be used later for trellis crops into year 2. Waiting for Sebastian to leave his home so we could give him a birthday gift, we headed to the mines to collect all the shoes, rings and weapons we had up there to start getting them stored away. And heading home, Sebastian was by the lake so he got a frozen tear for his birthday. We got a forever chest set up for weapons and rings, and another for shoes and shirts until we can upgrade our house. The mountain bluebird feather collection was finally completed, and we scythed a good chunk of grass away for hay before calling it a day. Gunther greeted us on day 11, and for all our good work at the museum, he told us we had received the coveted Golden Shovel Award and that we'll receive some money as thanks tomorrow. Now that Sebastian was becoming our friend, he had sent us over the coffee brewer recipe in the mail. We got today's giant snowdrops harvested, and then it was time for the glitching gentians from the 6 winter crops mod. You know the drill, one of each quality went into forever storage, a few were kept for future processing, 20 were shipped off, and into the river the rest went. This crop was replaced with the blue roses, also from this mod, as I hope to grow all of the crops from this mod to not have to deal with this problem ever again. Unfortunately, it wasn't going to be until the end of week 3 that I would notice that these roses weren't actually going to finish growing in this season. So we got some floor placed down to figure out where future iridium sprinklers were going to be placed, and got some fencing bordering it down too. And then we got to work on a new processing area. This area isn't going to be for money making and mass production, but a small area to keep slowly ticking away at all the items we need for this challenge. We got the drying rack and smoker moved over with their chests, also moving the chest for wines, jams and pickles, and for dehydrating. But we'll move the machines once they've finished what they are currently processing. The flowers weren't ready yet, so we still had no answer on whether we can get winter flower honey, and today one of our cows gave us an extra large milk, which is an addition from Mount Vapius, so we shipped it off for shipping completion. A few more trees were cut down on the farm and on the path up to Robin's before a quick check on the mushroom cave was done, as we hadn't been there for a while. Getting some red mushrooms ready for drying, and we shipped off the meringue mushroom. We placed an assortment of produce we had on hand to make new jellies and pickles, using the last part of our day to chop down and open up the area over to the battery production. On day 12, we got 40,000 gold in the mail for our museum contributions, and it was also the start of Squidfest. Robin let us know we could now commission a well, with the wizard asking us to deliver him a void essence. The winter broccoli from the 6 winter crops was ready, and even though they would keep growing more throughout the season, as they weren't working properly, we got them destroyed for other crops to grow. And again, you know the drill. 20 shipped, different qualities in for forever storage, some kept for processing, and the rest went into the river. A load of mint was also ready for harvest again today, the dehydrator was moved over, and we got our first duck egg shipped off. Marlon was spotted sneaking into the sewers, and we overheard Abigail and her mum having a little bit of an argument. With Pierre, we stocked up on giant snowdrops and lilac pansies, buying a whole load of mint seeds as well because we keep coming back regularly for them. Mara asked us to do some maths and we failed miserably, and then we got a barn upgrade started with Robin. We decided to invest in getting the last 2 vault bundles completed, knitting us a lightning rod and a crystallarium, but of course it now means we finally have access to the desert after tonight. We were going to put off the Squidfest until tomorrow, but of course I couldn't ignore this festival. I wanted my new favorite hat. We caught a conger eel and bobtail squid for the first time, and finally at 6:10 we got the first needed squid. We decided it was probably best to head home and get the bait maker to increase our chances of catching what we needed, and after returning to the beach by 1:10 in the morning, we had caught more than what we needed, getting the art of crabbing, the squid kid painting, and our first pearl. The bus was repaired as we slept, our fishing also leveled up, and on day 13 we got the seeds planted down from yesterday as we had run out of time with all the previous day's activities. The preserves jar and keg were moved over to the mod processing area, powder melons were harvested, and our first speckled fowl had hatched, and we called it Jay's. Our first duck mayonnaise was ready for shipping, and walking to the beach to continue with Squidfest ended up with us first collecting some crabs in Willie's shop. With bait maker in hand, we fished until 3:20 to get the 10 we needed to finish off the Squidfest, getting the most important item in all of Stardew Valley, the squid hat, and you know I put it on instantly. Back at the farm, we did a bit of fish organization into bulk storage, setting down the lightning rods we got for free yesterday, and sat down a load of grass for more crop growing next year. And while we were at it, we got some more pathing down and fences to keep the animals in their area when spring starts. Just before bed, we remembered to set the other speckled egg incubating, and off we ran to sleep. Waking up on day 14, the Queen of Sauce showed us how to make a chocolate cake, and we got a fresh harvest of powder melons, so we now have one of each quality in forever storage. The Napa cabbage, our 5th of the 6 crops from the 6 crops winter mod, were ready. You know how it went. 20 shipped, one of each quality forever stored away. some kept for recipes, and into the river went the rest. Goodbye to 99,000 gold. We got our first silver and gold quality duck egg today, so into forever storage they went, and it was today that we met the raccoon who had just moved in. He was requesting 5 crayfish and a smoked ghost fish, so we'll have to work on that soon. On a whim, we bought the Book of Farming 1 from the wandering merchant to have it checked off the list. The new batch of giant snowdrops and lilac pansies were bought from Pierre, as he only had 3 at a time, as well as 20 snowdrops and another largest batch of mint. Harvey got a bearberry for his birthday, and then it was then that I found out that he also sells seeds. And at this point I'm surprised that Clint also doesn't. And now I'm wondering if Gus does too. The last day of week 2 we paid a visit to Mount Vapius again to see all the new bundles that might now be available, and found out from Celestine and Adelaide that there will now also be a request board here in the mountain that we can help out with. We found another amber preserved fern as we headed up the mountains, as well as some squid ink and a new forage item called Neverill. A new artifact was dug up, the copper fibula, and we found not 1 but 18 bundles waiting for us to complete, and some of them look like they are going to be tricky. On our way home after this big revelation, we found our first secret note telling us about the Junimo plushie we can find, and also managing to find another rusty ring on our way back to the train station. Back at home, the amber fern got placed into the forever chest, as did the blue cameo, rusty ring, and all qualities of Grampleton walnut, before we set up 5 new chests for forever storage items. 1 for hats, roe, bait, books, and furniture. And anything that fit into those categories we got added in. So here's a rundown of the great organization of the evening. Into fruit went all the juniper berries. Into unique fish went 1 armored snail, silver bobtail squid, brittle star, gold giant tube worm, and piglet squid. 1 of each squid type went into fish: a pacu, silver and gold stubby squid, normal hagfish, gold longfin ice devil, normal pleco, and silver tantro koi went into more fish. 1 of each pansy went into the flowers. Into forage went all holly qualities, as well as a normal sea urchin and gold coral, completing those collections. All the weapons and rings we had went into their own chest. The bamboo pole went into the tool chest. Shoes and shirts were stored away, as were hats and furniture. The Book of Combat 3 was added to the book box, and all the roes and baits we had got put into their forever chest, with squid ink placed with the roe. And that was a lot of things we can suddenly check off our list. So off to bed we went after a busy day of organization, and it does feel good to be making a lot of progress with forever items in this season. On day 15 we quickly ripped up all those quality sprinklers to get some paths set up underneath them. We received mail from our interdimensional friends telling us we can now make our animals pregnant if we so wish, and that now means we have all the tools from the animal husbandry mod. Harvey gifted us some aloe stem to grow next year, as well as the recipes to craft the coffee grinder and yogurt bowl. We found out on this day that we can actually make specific winter flower honey, which is cool to have more items to get. We ended up with striped quill, pansy, lilac pansy, and giant snowdrop honey. Of course, we shipped off the excess, holding onto 1 of each for our forever collection, and we do now need to start thinking of setting up a forever chest for all of the honeys very soon. Our turkeys provided the first turkey eggs today. We didn't ship them off, but it did allow us to put a normal and gold quality one into forever storage. We set up some pale ale and cranberry jelly being made until we automate it in a future shed, getting a decent harvest of green beans, ancient fiber, strawberries, and salals. The empty ancient fiber spots being replaced with more strawberries, and we got the whole sprinkler of salals finally all put down. The salal and ancient fiber was shipped off for shipping completion, getting a normal and gold ancient fiber into forever storage, and as we needed the money this week, we got all those harvested strawberries shipped off as well today too. Although we will still struggle for money this week at times. We spent the evening gifting. Demetrius got a strawberry, Pam a parsnip, and when we visited George, we learned about how he ended up in his wheelchair, and then saw him having a checkup with Harvey. After this, we got a leek for him, and the mayor got a hot pepper. We went with the menu for Musician's Quest, but upon seeing what was required, we realized we wouldn't be getting that one done today either. Heading to the beach for forage, we remembered that it was the night market, so thank goodness we came, purchasing our first Lupini painting of the series. We paid to use the submarine, catching a few midnight squid before getting the all-important blobfish for the community center. The new midnight squid and sea cucumber went into forever storage, and off to bed we went. Pam had sent us the recipe for stuffing on day 16, and Louis sent the one for eggplant parmesan. Our first speckled fowl laid their first egg, and of course it went into forever storage. At Robin's we asked for a deluxe coop, talking to Sebastian about his life goals. The fish tank got completed, meaning we will unlock panning now, and finally we went to the desert for the first time. We gave Sandy a crocus that we had on hand, and trying to buy 10 beet seeds we ran out of money after only getting 8. We really do need to up our artisanal production to get more money rolling in. Foraging here got us our first coconut and calico pistachio. One of each cactus fruit was stored away, getting a coconut, cactus and sugarcane shipped off for completion. We got a new quality sprinkler down for those beets we bought and crafted up the slime soul to continue the Adventurer Guild's questline, and on our way to hand it over we talked to Sebastian while he worked on his motorbike. And then we found the garbage hat just before entering into the guild. We met Alicia as we entered, and it turns out we can buy stronger version of Grandpa's staff from Marlon, and it does look that some of them are quite strong indeed. We gave Gabrielle the slime soul, and with some help from Zinnia, it transformed into a slime which she's named Silly. Gabrielle wanted us to hurt him, and Zinnia wanted us to protect him. I sided with Zinnia as I couldn't bear to see this cute little slime hurt. Zinnia said she would decorate Silly's room, and Gabrielle asked me to see the wizard to see if I could learn how to talk to the slime. We picked up a new copy of Jack Be Nimble on the way to the night market, and then realized that we had no money to buy the Lupini painting, so I guess we'll have to wait a few years now until it returns. And we finished off the night getting to the ultimate mod harvesting the bushes for its in Cindersnap forest, and that would be one less thing that we have to worry about in the future. The boulder was removed as we slept, and on day 17 Gus was at our door with a mini jukebox and the crafting recipe to go with it. And Zinnia was also here to say hi with Silly. In the mail, we learned how to make a compost bin from Aster, and Clint asked for an iron bar. A second and final speckled fowl was born, and we named him Billy Rance after my good friend. The silver quality speckled egg was added to forever storage. The wizard gave us a drink so we could communicate with Silly, so we gave him a purple mushroom for his birthday. Afterwards, seeing him check the protection barriers that he maintained for the valley. Willie gave us our copper pan, and after we told Gabrielle Silly didn't like him, he apologized and all seemed to be good. It turns out Silly remembers that humans and slimes once lived happily together, so off Gabrielle went to find any information about it that he could. Gunther got a chipped amphora and soapstone as we continued automating the bushes of Cindersnap Forest, and at the night market we picked up the next Lupini painting before sleeping. Archaeology reached level 10 as we slept, and we chose the antiquarian perk. And on day 18, Gabrielle told us that he had found a book detailing the time humans and slime lived in harmony and asked us to come visit him later. The wizard had sent the crafting recipe for a gumball machine, and we were told Ian would be the one that we needed to gift at the end of the year. A decent amount of mint was harvested and shipped off today, and a silver turkey egg was added to forever storage, and we got the other turkey egg and speckled egg shipped off for completion. Oh, and we got our first duck feather too. We scrambled for cash to get the final 100 flour needed for the community center, and just like that, the community center was done. We chopped down trees, cleared out the farm quarry, foraged a bit in the cave for fruit, completing the forever collection of cherries, and then it was off to bed. We woke up on day 19 to maxed friendship with Demetrius after completing the bulletin board, and Lorenzo came by to give us an old foxtail charm that used to belong to my grandmother. Marnie had thrown out an ostrich egg, and we quickly bought 2 quail eggs, calling them garlic, mint, and cinna. Another round of honey was ready, with Robin giving us the flute and drum block recipes when we visited her for a house upgrade. Maru got a gold strawberry, and Marlon a life elixir for his birthday. It was here Gabrielle told us that humans found the slimes in the mines and were friends. The slimes giving them the slime heart as a gift which had amazing healing powers. Eventually humans needed more of these hearts, but they took too long to make, and so they came and started killing the slimes themselves to get what they needed, and ultimately this is why slimes attack us to this day. Gil had a thorns ring, coffee bean and book of mining too for us as we left. Marlon finally introduced us to Krobus, and we got the lovely community center cutscene where we said goodbye to Morris forever. We found our first rusty spoon in a dig spot, and Evelyn gave us her cookie recipe. After this, we did some gifting, giving George a leek. Quickly detouring to stock up on bait for the crab pots, we then gave Lewis a hot pepper and Pam a parsnip before organizing all of our stuff, putting the thorns ring, a foxtail charm away into forever storage. We set a few squid to smoke, scythed for hay, put down 15 kegs to start mass producing wine for money, and went to bed. On day 20, we received so many recipes in the mail. Louise sent us the meatloaf recipe, Jody ice cream, George spicy eel, Clint algae soup, Caroline vegetable medley, Gus cranberry sauce, Marnie rhubarb pie, Willie fish stew, Carmen ridge apple cake, Robin the blast chiller recipe to craft, and Willie told us to come visit the back of his shop soon. We got down 6 preserve jars for salal jam to process, adding iridium large milk to the Forever collection. Pam was having a small crisis at the bus stop, and we found our first unicorn horn here also. Evelyn got a fairy rose for her birthday, and Clint an iron bar that he had requested. We maxed out our friendship with Lewis, and Willie gave us a list of items to get his boat repaired, quickly fishing up the lifesaver while we were there. The warp point had appeared in Cindersnap, but we wouldn't be heading on through it just yet. We went to the desert to get those last 2 beet seeds that were needed, foraging here and getting a secret note telling us the history of Stardew Valley and Ridgeside. Returning home, we added all qualities of sugarcane to Forever storage as well as the lifesaver. We got earth crystal into the crystallarian and 5 more mayo makers down before shipping off our first speckled mayo and the ostrich egg that we had found. On day 21, we learned how to make pumpkin pie. In the mail, we had even more recipes. Ratatouille from Louis, rice pudding from Evelyn, with George asking us to hand over a watch that we found to help him repair his. We added a normal quality speckled egg and silver speckled feather into Forever storage, and from Marnie we got 2 goats called Cece and Raft's Carp. We went to visit Krobus, buying our first void egg and getting a new Joja Cola type as well, Joja Cola Star. At Pierre's, all the farmers of the valley were here shopping, and then we agreed to buy Yuma doing his groceries. We got our first turkey mayonnaise shipped off, and the other mayo and new Joja Cola was put into Forever storage. Wine and juice was shipped off too to get that completed. We cleared up the farm beach a little bit, and honestly this day we just went to bed rather early. On day 22, we woke up to a brand new spacious home with a letter from Celestine telling us we can now buy news from Marnie. Strawberries and coffee were harvested, getting 15 coffee shipped off for shipping completion. Earth stars and a dust cap were also shipped off for completion too. A few extra mushrooms from the cave were shipped, and it was off to collect the golden scythe. Broke some stones and chests, hoping maybe this area would have some new trash, but alas, it did not. But we got the golden scythe now, using the statue to teleport out and gathered any ore that was lying around in the quarry. Gabriel got a coffee for his birthday. We cleared out all the trees in the animal pen area and set off some pine needles turning into pickled pine spruce. Now it does look like the pine mod might not be wholly completable now that the cornucopia artisan mod can turn most things into pickles, juices, or wine, so we are going to endeavor to get it done as much as possible, and if I can find someone who can help me find a fix for this mod, then I will look into it. On day 23, we got the bed moved over to the door, getting a scarecrow down to cover all our crops, crafted the enchanted crystal to start working on the everlasting flowers mod, placing 2 qualities of crocus in there to see if it will make different quality level products. We made a farm totem from impeding future event that will get us stuck, and rushed to Robin's to get a shed ordered before she headed off for her Tuesday fitness class. Gabriel bumped into us outside Pierre's, the next batch of mint was bought, and visiting Leah for her birthday got us the cutscene where she was carving her sculpture. This got us stuck, so we used our totem to return us to the farm, and after Leah's we went again, getting another cutscene, this time with Josephine, who wished to buy the sculpture we just saw. We finally gave her her birthday gift of a salal berry, and then had a third cutscene with her today about her ex. I told her she wasn't selfish to have come to Stardew Valley, and that seemed to be the right thing to say. We found an arrowhead in the woods, and after helping Gunther clean up the library, we got it donated. Some beach foraging got us our first sunset mango, and into Forever storage that night went a holy grenade starfish. A new batch of mint was placed down, and off to bed we went. On day 24, Leah was waiting with her sculpture, giving it to us as a present. We got it set down for all to see, and then found she had sent us the recipe for beet salad in the mail, with Willie sending us the recipe to make lobster bisque. The 5th of the 6 glitchy winter crops was ready, and so as before, 20 were shipped, 1 of each quality was stored, extras were stored for processing, and into the river went the rest. Our first void chicken had hatched, and we called him Belligerent, after Belligerent Chicken, who has been enjoying the Stardew videos and recommended some fun mods for the coming season. The underground cave got us some decent fruit forage, and fishing here got us our first ghost fish, which the raccoon had requested. We got the fish set to smoking, and visiting Pierre, we saw him suggesting that Josephine was someone called the Zuzu Songbird, which set her running out of the store. Why were we in the store? To get more mint, of course. And this final purchase would be to hold our crop spots into the spring season. Luna got a silver quality orange as a gift down at the beach, and we stocked up on a good haul of stuff from the crab pots here too. We got that second void egg bought from Krobus, found another ostrich egg Marnie didn't want, got the raccoon his ghost fish, and set the ostrich egg turning into mayo. We got our first quail mayonnaise, so one went into forever storage and the other got shipped off for completion. Mint was planted, the balance fruit was ripped out as it never grew, with the iridium sprinkler moved ready for spring. And in a bid to try to showcase that we do have one of everything, we got a mossy tree, oak, maple and pine tree planted down to grow in front of the silo area, and we'll get a birch tree there later. On day 25, Shane let us know he had acquired some stuff from Joja before it closed down that we could buy if we so wished. The animal pen tidy up was completed as we got rid of all the stone. We got a normal and silver quality quail egg into forever storage, and off to the feast of the winter star we went. Here we bought the winter banner and roast turkey recipe. Ian got a strawberry for his secret gift, and I received some energy tonic from Philip. Back at home, we got the pickled pine into forever storage, as well as a silver quality crow feather. We made an oil maker to get some pine needle tincture being made, and cooked up some pine needle tea, making sure to get 2 of both being made for forever storage and shipping completion. Day 26 had a small haul of wine ready for us, and our first everlasting crocus was ready. It was gold quality, meaning we will be needing 4 of each of these for the forever storage to collect everything, and we shipped it off, picking up all the kegs and preserve jars that were empty to move them into the shed. Inside we got the kegs and preserve jars set up on either side to get the money rolling in properly for us, and we are definitely going to get some more sheds later. A gold quality speckled feather and gold goat's milk got added into forever storage. A load of fruit was added into the shed for jam, and 5 rare seeds were picked up from the wandering trader. We found a new shirt in the trash, realized Gus wasn't at work after we brought him loads of geodes, but we did drop off a rusted spoon and copper fibula at the museum. A new piece of trash was found on our way to the community center, and Gus got an amethyst for his birthday. We decided to go to the Skull Caverns for the first time today, though it was probably the most pitiful exploration you've ever seen, getting only 2 iridium ore. Though it was enough to get us a new iridium sprinkler. The new trash was added into forever storage, we got that sunset mango from earlier shipped off, and goat's cheese into forever storage too. And the crow feather collection was also completed. Alecto was outside Rasmodius' tower and had turned blue as she was sad and angry at Rasmodius for moving on with his life without her. The raccoon got his 5 crayfish, and off to bed we went. On day 27, Mr. Key told us to reach level 5 of Skull Caverns, and Clint sent us the recipe for a bean hot pot. We got that new iridium sprinkler set down, collected our last round of winter honey, got a golden turkey feather and silver void egg into forever storage, headed to Gus's to break all those geodes and mystery boxes we had been collecting, and this managed to get us 10 new items for the museum. The mayor's fridge got all those beets now that they had grown, and we bought 1 of each of the seeds for the 6 crops for winter mod. From Krobus we bought our next star drop, with Sophia getting a fairy rose for her birthday before we finished the automation of all the bushes in Cindersnap Forest. We set up a chest to get the 6 crops for winter mod all stored up as we start to group mods together for the future of this modded collection series. And on day 28, the final day of winter, the Queen of Sauce had the cranberry candy recipe for us, with Clint sending us the glazed ham recipe and Mr. Key sending us 10k in the mail for reaching level 25 of Skull Caverns the other day. Our second and final void egg hatched, and we called them Fiona Danger after another subscriber who made the amazing trash mod that we are using for this playthrough, so please go and check it out and add it into your own game if you enjoy Stardew mods. A large silver quail egg and normal speckled feather was added to forever storage. We gave Pam some mead to complete her friendship before she drove us to the desert, hopefully not drunk, where we checked Sandy's inventory for all spring seeds for the coming season, getting us rhubarb, bamboo, agave, as well as a new shirt and the crystal float, spooky fish, and void caviar recipe. We got the galaxy sword, gave the dragon his final meal, got the club card, added void's mayonnaise into forever storage, explored the secret woods for forage, and planted some ancient fern seeds. At Ridgeside, we saw the installation of their own request board before we headed to the end of year festival and made our New Year's resolution. The year was almost over, so we quickly stored away a cookie cutter shark and the 2 new shirts that we got into forever storage before off to bed we went to usher in spring of year 2. And that is it. Year 1 is over. We started this challenge with an insane goal, and that I think has only increased over time. To collect 1 of every item and 1 of every quality of the item in an overmodded Stardew playthrough. From starting with a giant overgrown farm, we carved out a small area to grow our first crops. We added coops, we added barns, We got so many animals in our first year. We started now to max out friendships. We've explored the areas of Ridgeside, East Scarp, and Mount Vapius, and we've seen progress in so many of the mods that we have added and begun to make our farm beautiful and organized. I can't wait to see what happens in year 2 and what new interesting mods we will be adding to continue this challenge onwards. So thank you always for watching these videos, and thank you for staying put as we continue with this challenge. I'll see you all soon in spring of year 2.